That man is still alive. Temperatures are only going to get colder the closer you get to Thanksgiving. Jason Puma with the National Weather Service says chances for rain and snow are also in the mix.
On Wednesday and on Thanksgiving Day, we're going to see a storm system moving into the area, and there will be chances for precipitation. And some of that precipitation could be in the form of snow.
Puma says the further north you go, the better chances there are for snow. You're more likely to get rain in the southern half of the state. Skies should be clear regardless tomorrow. Getting farmers wired to the internet. Kurt Darling reports that's the goal of some federal grant money that's made its way to the state.
A new federal program is giving Indiana $15 million to be used for efforts to bring high-speed internet to rural parts of the state with a specific goal of helping farmers. Katrina Hall is with the Indiana Farm Bureau.
New technology in the ag space is coming online every day.
And she tells Wish TV a lot of that new tech requires access to the internet. She adds that the grant money is not enough to reach all rural parts of the state, but that every little bit helps. Kirk Darling, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 3:04.
Do you have an idea for a book? Fiction, nonfiction, or a children's book? We can help you put it together and bring it to market at Dorrance Publishing. We have thousands of testimonials from people just like you that we've helped get their books sold in stores and online. We've even got a service called The Writer's Coach. It's perfect for people that have a book idea in their head and they just need someone to help them put it on paper. Dorrance Book Publishing has been helping people just like you who have a book idea, written or not, for over 100 years. Imagine being counted among the most famous authors in the world with your very own book. Call right now and let us help you turn a book idea into reality. It's easier than you think. You just need a little help. Call us now.
800-879-4098. 800-879-4098. 800-879-4098. That's 800-879-4098.
The traffic on the 5s at 3:05. What's going on, Matt Bear?
Harrison, west side, looking at northbound 465 before 74 Crawfordsville Road. It is a crash blocking 2 left lanes, stopping traffic back to Rockville Road. Delay is at 23 minutes. Northwest side, northbound 65, stop and go from 465 past 71st Street. And on the southeast side, southbound 465 loaded from 74 to Arlington Avenue. Traffic sponsored by PureTalk.com. Stop overpaying for your cell phone plan. Pure Talk gives you unlimited talk, text, and data for just $25 a month on their 5G network. Dial pound 250 and say keyword switch now to save 50% off your first month. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Thanks, Matt. And here's your forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Lots of clouds for the day today, and we could see a few spotty showers, especially later this afternoon. Incredibly mild with highs near 58. Cloudy and colder tonight. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Tara Hastings for 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
So let's rock it! Hello, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving week. I'm Nigel. Jason Hammer is out. The gun guy, Guy Relford, filling in. Sir, how are you?
Man, I'm great. It's nice to be here with you. I always enjoy filling in.
Producer Kurt, filling in for Allison. Let's kick off this segment with a little legal stuff.
Crime, punishment, judges, legal stuff.
A lot of conservatives, a lot of Republicans, a lot of Trump voters celebrating that the end to President-elect Trump's legal troubles are on the horizon. The Department of Justice Special Counsel, deranged prosecutor Jack Smith has dropped all charges against Trump. We're talking like the election interference case, the January 6th stuff, the classified documents crap, all done. The Department of Justice basically can't prosecute a sitting president. And Jack Smith knows that this is a bunch of BS anyway, political witch hunt. What is law? You know what? There's this term called lawfare that I've been hearing lately. It's a new buzzword. Deranged prosecutor Jack Smith, the Department of Justice, committing lawfare against Trump. Is lawfare kind of a mix between words, using the law as political warfare or weaponization? Sure. Is that what that kind of means?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a relatively new term. It's not a term that, that I've seen before, frankly, after 40 plus years as an attorney. But yeah, it's warfare using the legal system. And I think it's an appropriate term with what we've seen by politically motivated litigation and prosecution against President Trump.
Trump also charged with obstruction of justice for the January 6th stuff. That's all gone. The classified documents, election interference. Now, that's on the federal level, right? We still have the BS case in New York with the falsifying of business documents with the quote-unquote hush money, which is that is the complete wrong term for what that is. Although... and then we're talking Fannie Willis down in Georgia with her election interference stuff. All that's been put on hold. The Democrat judge back in New York with Fat Alvin Bragg and the falsifying of business documents, that is on hold. They're just waiting for sentencing, but nothing's going to happen to that until Trump is out of office.
Yeah, and what's getting a lot of play and a lot of discussion is the judge in that case, Judge Marchand, has recently allowed President Trump's legal team to file a motion to dismiss. He's already said he's going to put off sentencing until after Trump's presidency. So it's going to lie there dormant for all that time. In the meantime, Trump's team said, well, can we come in and file a motion just to get rid of it? And the judge said, sure, you can file that motion. A lot of people are trying to read a lot into that, going, oh, look, he's going to dismiss the case. He's signaling he's going to dismiss the case.
Yeah, does a judge merely granting a motion to dismiss actually mean anything? I mean, can you glean anything from that, from the outcome? Like his decision?
He hasn't even granted the motion to dismiss. He's given them permission to file a motion to dismiss.
Right.
Without necessarily signaling how he's going to rule on it. And frankly, most of the time, unless you're after some deadline for filing motions, most of the time you don't even need permission from a judge to file a motion. If you've got a motion, you file it. I have a feeling because of the stage in the case, it's later than when you typically would file a motion to dismiss after there's already a guilty verdict. And here he's saying, sure, go ahead and file your motion. But to me, as an attorney, I don't draw anything from, away from that in terms of how he's going to rule on that motion to dismiss. One way or the other, though, sentencing's put off until the 4 years of Trump's presidency.
He has dodged bullets figuratively and literally ever since he came down that escalator. I'm talking about Donald Trump in 2015 to announce he was running for president. Everything from Russian collusion to, I believe, in 2020, the Democrats and legacy media and the Department of Justice and the FBI colluded against Trump with the Hunter Biden laptop. He had the 51 intel officers, CIA, national security guys, all signing off saying, yeah, that Hunter Biden laptop was hacked. It's a Russian plant. It's not real. And they all signed off on that, trying to influence people before the election. And so he's sham impeachments, this falsifying of business records in New York. Everybody, even Democrat talking heads are saying that Fat Alvin Bragg case in New York with the hush money and Stormy Daniels is a bunch of BS. He's literally dodged bullets in Butler, Pennsylvania. Another assassination attempt at, I believe, Mar-a-Lago, or he was on the golf course there. A guy was set up a couple holes away. And everything they throw at this guy, he just turned around and gave him a big middle finger with the popular vote and the electoral vote all going his way in the election.
And it's a comeback story that I don't know enough people have focused on, because when there was a time not so long ago that if you put out a popular poll, I mean, completely nonpartisan, you took answers from everybody on some equal basis, what's the likelihood President Trump could ever come back and win re-election? Given where we were, say, a year ago, 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, you'd have gotten a very high percentage of people, even people that were rooting for him politically, would have said, not a chance in hell. The deck's just stacked against him. And he overcame all of that, to your point.
I think people just got fed up with watching him get railroaded left and right. I think they got tired of everything in this country with this southern border with which we'll talk about here in just a little while, with the economy, with just the overseas stuff, the war in Ukraine, Russia, and just people are done with it. People are done, and then the weaponization of the Department of Justice. That's
right.
It. They see political prosecution, not just for Donald Trump, but for average, ordinary, everyday Americans, whether it be protesting outside a Planned Parenthood clinic, Loudoun County school district, everything. It's from one thing to another. I think that's why you are looking at President Trump now. And a horrible candidate.
Exactly.
In Kamala Harris.
Yeah, absolutely. Who never got voted for by anyone.
Yeah, exactly.
And suddenly she gets substituted for the person that millions and millions of people cast primary votes for. But, back to the lawfare issue, what I think highlights exactly what you're talking about, Nige, better than any other example, is the confidential documents, the classified documents case. Because listen, they go in, they find a bunch of classified documents in Biden's garage, completely unprotected. You got a admitted drug user in and out of that house all the time in the form of one Hunter Biden, completely unclassified. They're sitting around in boxes in his garage. They go in there, they find all these classified documents. They come back and they issue a report to say, well, yeah, he technically violated the law, but he's too old and decrepit and senile to really understand what he was doing. And we think a jury would have sympathy on him. That's the case against Biden. What do they do with Trump? He's alleged to have classified documents.
They raid his house. Go through Melania's
with
underwear
SWAT
drawer.
teams. People showed up with AR-15s, full body armor. They raid his house and then prosecute him for felonies. And you look at those two situations and you say, I'm sorry, there is no justification from a legal perspective, from an ethical perspective, and moral perspective. There's no way you can look at those two examples and say, yeah, the Justice Department treated President Trump as an ordinary legal citizen with all the rights attendant thereto. No, I mean, this was weaponization of the Justice Department. And then what cracks me up is all the people on the left coming out saying, well, we're really worried about Trump being elected now because we think he's going to weaponize the Justice Department. And we're like, are you kidding me?
Yeah,
Have you not been paying attention?
Meanwhile, first of all, do you remember back when Biden was elected, were you despondent in any way? Did you get down on your knees and scream out to the sky? Did you have therapy cry sessions like they're having? Did you hear about these therapy cry sessions?
Oh yeah, well I scheduled those. I had people come over and we all got down on our knees and we had a cry session, and then I had teddy bears on hold
when Biden
with
was
lemonade
elected,
and brownies. Yeah. Now, of course. I mean, this cry session is the most hilarious thing ever.
The Secretary of State Blinken getting mocked for holding these cry sessions for fellow employees upset over Trump's election.
Yeah.
Secretary of State.
The Secretary of State, a sitting cabinet member, is scheduling cry sessions. And listen, I think that perfectly highlights, Nigel, and I've heard you say exactly the same thing. This highlights that one secretary, this particular secretary, doesn't understand why the Democrats lost. I think the overwhelming majority of Americans, and even in the popular vote, came out and say, you know what, we're ready for the adults to be in charge again. We're ready for grown-ups with grown-up attitudes to be in charge of the United States government again.
Absolutely.
And this schedule cry sessions, and now, you're come on.
If you think this is hyperbolic, this is not. In fact, a California congressman sent a letter to Blinken, quote, and we'll get to traffic here in just a second, but I got to read you what this congressman wrote to Blinken. It's disturbing that nonpartisan government officials would suffer a personal meltdown over the results of a free and fair election, something the United States champions around the world. It's unacceptable that the department accommodates this behavior and subsidizes it with taxpayer dollars.
Well, and keep in mind, who are we talking about? We're talking about Secretary of State. This is the guy who deals with foreign governments, who deals with our adversaries. You think people in Russia and China and North Korea right now aren't looking and laughing at this, going, this is the guy in charge of foreign policy for the United States, and he's having a cry session. Please.
Matt Bear, my man, what is up with traffic?
Crash move to the left shoulder on the west side. It's northbound 465 before 74 Crawfordsville Road, causing stop-and-go traffic back to Rockville Road. Eastbound 70 slows from Harding Street to the south split. Inbound 65 slow around West Street to Meridian Penn. And on the north side, eastbound 465, a little bit of company now, running from Keystone Avenue over to Allisonville Road. Traffic sponsored by PureTalk.com. Stop overpaying for your cell phone plan. Pure Talk gives you unlimited talk, text, and data for just $25 a month on their 5G network. Dial pound 250 and say keyword switch now to save 50% off your first month. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Man, it is looking, the weather, it's gloomy outside, but it's 60 right now in Indy. Looking ahead, tomorrow's high only 45, highs in the 40s, and Friday, Black Friday, high of only 32. Again, right now 60 at the American Standard Heating Weather Center on 93 WIBC.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-285-0395. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-285-0395. 800-285-0395. 800-285-0395.
Hey, look, you got to check out Barkeep Vodka, made right here in Indy. It's the cleanest vodka ever made. They utilize this new compression filtering process. It is the smoothest vodka I've ever tasted. It is better value than almost all the other top-shelf vodkas out there.
Again, this is an amazing vodka. Like, Nigel and I kind of know what we're talking about when it comes to spirits, and this bad boy is so good. It's made with corn from Indiana farmers. It's made in Indy, and the price, it's very affordable considering the product you're getting here. So do yourself a favor. Pick up a bottle of Barkeep Vodka. Makes a great gift for the holidays. BarkeepVodka.com. Log on right now and find that list of locations.
Hammer and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
Earn, save, grow. It's time your money works harder and goes further with a Stockyards Bank and Trust CD. For a limited time, earn 5.15 annual percentage yield with our 5-month CD special. Proudly serving our communities since 1904. Visit any of our 5 Indianapolis area locations or syb.com/IndyCD today and experience the Stockyards Bank difference. 10,000 minimum balance required. Limited time offer. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
A true partner in your health dedicates time to understanding your needs. At CenterWell Senior Primary Care, doctors make one-on-one time with you a priority so you can get all your questions answered and feel more confident in your health care. See how it feels to have a team of senior care experts working together to help you feel your best. CenterWell, it's about time. Schedule a tour today at meetcenterwell.com. That's meetcenterwell.com.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey, it's Rob. Right now, schedule your free in-home estimate. For every 2 windows you buy, you get the next 2 free, plus 0% financing for 60 months. That's 5 years. Restrictions apply. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Don't you deserve health care you can count on? Well, you can count on United Healthcare with Medicare plans that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. You can enjoy reliable coverage and low out-of-pocket costs with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. United Healthcare Medicare Advantage plans. Made for Indianapolis, trusted everywhere. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Pierce Jewelers, Carmel's jewelry experts.
The Hammer and Nigel Show.
All right, boys, let's go do this. Loud and proud.
93 WIBC.
I hated seeing these images on social media over the weekend. Just heartbreaking. That guy Relford in for Hammer. Did you see the footage of the 2-year-old kid from El Salvador trafficked into the United States by themselves? 2-year-old. It was a 2-year-old little girl. She arrived with nothing but a piece of paper with the phone number and name. It was like a Post-it note guy that said, her parents are in the U.S. It just had like a phone number on it.
Yeah, and I think what people lose sight of in this is that as we all know, a 2-year-old didn't make it here from El Salvador by herself, right? So
yeah, I used the word traffic.
Adults brought her here because, I mean, the way it's being portrayed is that, she just magically appeared and somehow restrictive immigration policies have led to this. It's just the opposite. It's the fact that we have open borders under the Biden administration that actually facilitates the trafficking of young children, just exactly like this little girl. And so she was brought here by a trafficker. I don't think there's any question about that. And the open border policies facilitate that. And people lose sight of that when they hear this story.
Well, people lose sight of the main thing I want people to glean from having open borders, the southern border, was, first of all, Laken Riley's killer found guilty. He was flown in on one of these Biden ghost flights, I believe, to New York. Then a member of a Venezuelan gang, put up in New York, requested to come down to Georgia, was arrested a time or two in between there here in the United States. Let him go. And the next thing you know, he's on trial for murder. Thankfully, he was found guilty on all charges. He's going to get to live out the rest of his life, probably better than he would down in that S-hole country, Venezuela.
Yeah.
And I wonder, Laken Riley, certainly, I guess there was justice, but I wanted the death penalty. I'm sure they wanted the death penalty, but the woke prosecutor said that wouldn't serve justice. And that prosecutor, by the way, voted out that originally declined the death penalty. But the other thing is, it's a detriment to people here in the United States, American citizens, especially the people that have been murdered by illegal aliens, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of stories just like Laken Riley's. But then you have the component which you were just talking about, hundreds of thousands of missing children since Biden signed those executive orders dismantling all Donald Trump's border policies. Hundreds of thousands. In 2023, from 21 to 24, thousands of migrant children went missing, sexually assaulted, died. And where are the tears from AOC and Rachel Maddow? Because I do remember Rachel Maddow and AOC crying some heavy tears talking about Trump's border policies back in 2018. Let's go back to 2018 when Rachel Maddow started crying on air because Trump and his immigration policies.
The AP has just broken some new news. This has just come out from the Associated Press. This is incredible. Trump administration officials have been sending babies and other young children. Hold on. To at least 3. Can we put up the graphic of this?
Right.
3 tender age shelters.
You could cut it off. It's everything that Obama was doing before Donald Trump. Kids in cages, that kind of thing, it's nothing new. Obama deported a lot of people, by the way, during his presidency. I think more than Donald Trump in 4 years. And I don't see Rachel Maddow or AOC shedding these tears anymore for the hundreds of thousands of children missing, for this 2-year-old that was shown on social media all over the place this weekend, trafficked into the United States, wandering by themselves. These people have no idea. And now you're seeing, Pritzker in Illinois and Hochul, the governor of New York and California, all doubling down, saying, oh, no, we're sanctuary cities again, when they were whining about these ghost flights. When people when the constituents of those governors were at town halls and in Chicago, New York City, saying, I can't believe, we're getting an influx. We can't handle it. And those governors were saying, we can't handle the influx. And now Donald Trump's president. He said he's cracking down. He's got his new ICE guy. He's got his new border czar. He said they're going to crack down. And these Democrat governors are saying, oh, okay, we're not going to comply.
And it just goes to show you exactly how completely political it is, right?
Completely.
Their reaction to these issues. Because, listen, the treatment of trafficked children, let's just take that one issue, into this country has been dramatically worse. And many more children have been trafficked, have been sold into prostitution, been murdered, abused.
Yep.
Many, hundreds of thousands have been under the Biden administration. And we don't see a tear. We don't hear a sob. It's all just fine for purely political reasons because it was Joe Biden in the White House. And that's what makes this so incredibly disgusting.
Do you want to do, as long as you're here, you might as well do Monday Gun Day.
Oh, got to do Monday Gun Day. Absolutely.
Guy Relford filling in for Hammer. My name is Nigel. It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
If you're looking for a deal that can't be beat, get over to the friendliest folks you'll ever meet at Andy Moore Ford in Plainfield with Black Friday deals running all month long. Now's the time to save big or let them come to you. With Ford Mobile Service, expert maintenance is just a call away, so you can put more time back in your day. Get it, Andy Moore? More time? Schedule your service easily through the Ford Pass app and get oil changes, tire rotations, and more right at your doorstep. And check out the selection. Head down to Andy Moore Ford and explore top picks like the rugged Ford Bronco and the all-electric F-150 Lightning. Trust me on the Lightning. These things are fantastic. Seating for up to 5, intelligent backup power, onboard power for all your tools and gear. This all-electric truck is built for adventure, work, and everything in between. Shop Black Friday deals now at AndyMooreFord.com. That's Andy Moore Ford, M-O-H-R. AndyMooreFord.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day, come to a physical office, and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through HIMSS.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through HIMSS.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
Hey, Pat Sullivan here with my friend Jack Hope, owner of Hope Plumbing. Jack, at the Sullivan House, we can't deal with any last-minute plumbing emergencies around the holidays. What do you suggest to get ready?
It's important to get your branch lines cleared because it could prevent a major disaster at some point over the holidays. And for the month of November, we have a $99 branch line clearing special for all your faithful listeners.
You heard them. Call Hope Plumbing for a $99 branch line clearing and get your home prepped for all the holiday fun.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Violence in the capital city. Cloudy and 60 degrees on the circle. No rain to bother with on your radar. Low temps drop below 30 tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 3:31. Too many people are getting shot in Indianapolis, says Indy FOP President Rick Snyder.
When you adjust for population differences, we are outpacing Chicago in homicides per capita by over 5% right now.
Snyder talking with WIBC's Kendall and Casey. 13 different people were shot this weekend. 3 others were stabbed. 2 people died in separate incidents. One of those shootings is in the parking lot of a strip club Sunday.
It was in the wee hours, says IMPD Captain Don Wildhammer. It was an argument that escalated.
And one of the individuals involved stated that he was going to go out to get his gun.
Soon after, shots were fired, wounding a man.
Kurt Darling reporting there. That man's still alive. Indianapolis is 9 shy of 200 homicides on the calendar year. A ceasefire could actually happen in Lebanon. White House National Security Communications Advisor John Kirby says progress is being made on a deal between Israel and Hezbollah.
We believe we're close.
The conversations that Amos had were very positive. And we, as I said earlier, we believe the trajectory is going in the right direction here to potentially getting this ceasefire done.
Kirby reminds that there's still work to be done for an agreement to become reality. You may see some snow this Thanksgiving. Ryan Hedrick reports on what forecasters know so far.
You will see more precipitation leading up to Thanksgiving as the storm approaches from the plains. Jason Puma with the National Weather Service in Indianapolis.
Yeah, we're looking at really kind of a double shot, getting an initial surge essentially on Wednesday night, and then another shot during the day on Thanksgiving Day.
He says it will become more clear Tuesday what type of precipitation it is. What we do know is that much colder air is on the way starting this weekend. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Farmers are getting new tech to help make their jobs easier, but they need the internet to make it all work.
So many people just rely on their cell phone for internet access, and to be honest, that isn't sufficient.
Katrina Hall with the Indiana Farm Bureau. She tells Wish TV the state's getting $15 million in federal grant money to spend on getting better Wi-Fi to people living out in the country, like Hoosier farmers. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 3:33.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-285-0395. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-285-0395. 800-285-0395. 800-285-0395.
The traffic at 3:34. What's going on, Matt Bear?
Harrison on the west side, crash cleared northbound 465 at 21st. Inbound 65, stop and go traffic 29th to Meridian. Penn, 5-minute delay. Eastbound 465 north side, stop and go traffic before and after Keystone Avenue. And Pike Township heading towards Lebanon. Northbound 65, stop and go traffic around 71st. Let's go before 86th Street. Traffic sponsored by Sullivan Hardware and Garden. Are you ready for Friday Frenzy? Join us today from 7:30 to 9:30 a.m. for donuts and coffee at Sullivan Hardware and Garden and Allisonville Home and Garden by Sullivan. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Thanks, Matt. And here's your forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Lots of clouds for the day today, and we could see a few spotty showers, especially later this afternoon. Incredibly mild with highs near 58. Cloudy and colder tonight. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Tara Hastings for 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox on the level on the go and on WIBC.com.
The only way to bag a classy lady is to give her 2 tickets to the gun show.
It's Monday Gun Day with the gun guy.
Just watch out for the guns. They'll get you.
Guy Relford.
Stop calling your arms guns.
Hammer and Nigel show.
Okay, my name is Nigel. Guy Relford is filling in for Jason Hammer. He is a Second Amendment attorney, licensed firearms instructor. Guy, how are you?
Yeah, I'm great, and thanks as always to our sponsor for Monday Gun Day. That's Premier Arms in Brownsburg, the largest selection of new, used, and historic firearms in the Midwest, and PA Jewelers located right in the store. Check them out at 3754 South Green Street in Brownsburg or premierarms.com.
So much to get to this hour. Let's start locally here, though. 10 Indianapolis shootings in a 12-hour span, 2 dead, 9 injured. One of those dead was like a guy outside of McDonald's. From what I understand, that's not all it appears to be. I'm sure we'll have updates on that. We have the first shooting around 6 o'clock Saturday. A 15-year-old walked into Riley with gunshot wounds. And you look at all this, and it just seems like it's fuel to the fire with the anti-gun nuts. See? Look, here's what we need to do. We need to ban guns, or we need to have age restrictions. We need to get rid of concealed carry, and it's quite the opposite, isn't it? When you
No, we're talking about enforcement of existing laws where the focus
Absolutely.
needs to be. And it's also about taking dangerous criminals and getting them off the street and then keeping them off the street. And, we talk about that all the time. I can tell you I'm limited as to one of the fatalities. I've actually been retained in one of these, and it appears to be a very clear case of self-defense. So that's all I'll say on that, and won't identify which one. But yeah, when we have these things, where there are recurring crimes by the same people over and over, and IMPD will tell you, and we've had them in here. And when we talked to FOP President Rick Snyder, what does he always say? He says, we're locking the same guys up over and over, and they get churned right back out into the system. So, yeah, look, just a shooting goes into the number. Are there legitimate self-defense shootings? Sometimes, absolutely, and I get involved in those. But for the most part, when it's really bad guys out committing these horrific and violent crimes, it's almost always repeat offenders. And that's where the focus ought to be, not on passing more laws when you have a bunch of people out breaking the law now and don't see a legitimate consequence.
Yeah, it's not like you start to pass more laws. It's not like these guys, any one of these guys, most of them anyway, would have been like, hey, look, they just passed a new law. We better put the guns down. We better go turn them into the IMPD.
Yeah.
This illegal gun I have with the serial number scrubbed off.
Yeah.
That I better not use that because they just passed a couple of new laws. And you're absolutely right. The existing laws are just the ones, and we need to keep these guys. I mean, I would love to see the rap sheets of previous incidents with a lot of these shooters. The guy, that knucklehead at the strip club, I'm going out to get my gun.
Well, and Abdul publishes some really interesting numbers at the end of every year. Talks about how many murder suspects already have a violent criminal conviction on their record, including gun crimes, and even how many victims of homicides in Marion County actually have a violent felony conviction on their record. So a lot of times it's bad guys shooting bad guys. And if we do a better job of taking the truly violent criminals and putting them in jail and keeping them in jail, not only are they not available then to go out and commit a murder, they're also not available to be a victim because a lot of times there are beefs involved, there are gang conflicts, there are rival drug dealers shooting at each other. It's bad guy on bad guy crime. And that's what we need to focus on. And every time I hear, "Oh, we should do away with constitutional carry," okay, and this goes to the point you just made, Nigel. Let's follow that to its logical conclusion. I'm a criminal. My intent is to commit murder, a premeditated murder. Let's say I want to murder my rival drug dealer, which happens all the time. And I'm going to do a drive-by. I'm going to go to the guy's house, kick the door in, whatever it might be, and I'm going to murder this person. So I'm not afraid of 60 years in prison or life in prison without parole. That doesn't dissuade me at all because I'm going to, by God, show up and murder this guy. But we're going to do away with constitutional carry, which means I can't carry a gun without a license. So on my way out the door, as I'm going to get in my car and go do this drive-by, this premeditated murder, I'm going to go, hold on. I could get a Class A misdemeanor for carrying a handgun without a license. I better not go commit this crime for which I could get life in prison. And these idiots will tell you that happens. It doesn't happen. Anybody with remote familiarity with the criminal justice system understands it doesn't happen.
And then the whole juvenile aspect. One of the other things gun grabbers want is age restrictions. Like they want to raise the age, like from 18 to 21. Does that sound
right?
I mean, like this 15-year-old that walked into Riley Hospital with a gunshot wound. I don't know how he was involved. Maybe he was obviously he was a victim of a gunshot, but like you see juveniles all the time, and more and more and more. A lot of these shootings are kids that are underage or late teens, and when you hear the stat that more kids die from gun violence than any other reason in the United States, it's a little misleading.
Yeah, it is because a lot of times, well, first of all, a lot of statistics you see are taking people under 21 and saying, okay, that, children are being murdered. A lot of people, can be, gang members or who knows what. So the statistics get fudged a lot. But the other thing is, let's just review what the law is. To go into a gun store and buy a handgun, you already have to be 21. That's federal law. That's been that way for a long time. To buy a long gun, a rifle or a shotgun, you have to be 18. And some folks are out there saying, oh, we can cut down crime if we raise the age to buy a rifle or a shotgun legally in a gun store to 21. And it doesn't make any sense because a lot of these crimes are being committed by people who already got their guns illegally. They're getting them on the street.
Handguns, not
handguns. And yeah,
I'd like to see the ratio of shotguns to handguns used by juveniles.
It's 20 to 25, 30 to 1. It's not even close. So it's primarily handguns. So you're talking about fixing a problem that doesn't exist, and you're also not addressing the real problem, which is people illegally obtaining guns. And they could pass that law tomorrow. It's not going to prevent 15, 16-year-olds who are already carrying the gun illegally from committing the crimes that they commit against each other. That's where the focus ought to be.
Let's move on now to Donald Trump's pick for Attorney General, Pam Bondi. By all accounts, a great pick. Probably it's a good trade for Matt Gaetz. I think the former representative out of the state of Florida. Pam Bondi has a long history as Attorney General of Florida, and then 18 years a homicide prosecutor, and a couple more. 20 plus, 2 decades as prosecutor, and she's a great communicator too. And I think that's one of the aspects that Donald Trump is looking for in his cabinet: people that can actually communicate. Unlike Karine Jean-Pierre, the Biden press secretary.
Right.
Dana Lash, who is a radio host, has a show syndicated on every night on this station, 10 to 1, though, doesn't like Trump's pick for Attorney General. Here is Dana speaking with another AG, Ken Paxton of Texas, over her concerns about Trump's pick for AG Bondi.
Because I know that the president has nominated Pam Bondi, and some of us, who really like our Second, Fourth, and Fifth Amendment are a little bit nervous about some of the stuff that she supported in the past as AG, whether it's the red flag law and, the age restriction, stuff that, doesn't fly in Texas. I didn't know if you had a thought about any of that.
Look, I know her really well. She served as Florida AG. There were a lot of things that we worked together on that we agreed on. We sued the Biden administration over and over. Certainly some of the things you're talking about, I honestly disagreed with.
Yeah, and and especially with some of the red flag and age restriction. Last quick question on that before we move on. Do you think that that's something that would benefit her to clarify and speak about at greater length?
Yeah, I do. I think she should explain her positions on those. Those matter. Obviously, Second Amendment issues are huge to our country, to the Constitution, to the fundamental rights that we were granted when this country was starting. And anything related to free speech, obviously, is right up there on the first.
And due process.
So that was Dana Lash talking to Texas AG Ken Paxton, kind of poo-pooing Trump's pick for Attorney General Pam Bondi because of her record or her stance, her comments on the Second Amendment, red flag laws. Does that argument hold water for you? What do you think of Trump's pick?
Well, yeah. I think outside the Second Amendment arena, I think it's a solid pick. And I think what we're looking for primarily, the attributes you mentioned, Nigel, which I agree with, but also the willingness to wade through that Justice Department and clean house and get rid of a lot of these long-time unelected bureaucrats who run the Department of Justice, including, by the way, within the Department of Justice, FBI and ATF. And you got these people, they've been there forever. They hold all the damn power. Nobody elected them to anything. And we need to wade through. Look at the abuses we've seen from FBI. You were talking about President Trump earlier. Well, he's been in the crosshairs with them since he stepped out of a White House. So I'm looking for somebody who will go in and clean house. And that's probably the number one criterion. But as a Second Amendment guy, and Dana Lash has a long history. I go back a long time with Dana Lash.
I saw her give you a shout out on X.
Yeah, she gave me a little love on X or Twitter. But her focus on Second Amendment rights is something I share, obviously. And she's right on this in the sense that as Attorney General in Florida, she defended things that Florida did in the wake of the Parkland shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. And, they had a horrific school shooting down there. And so Florida did some things. Florida raised the age to buy a long gun, as we were just talking about, from 18 to 21. Florida passed and or beefed up their red flag law. And as Attorney General, once those were challenged, she defended those things. And that's what got Dana Lash's attention and some of our my attention as well, which is, hold on, you're advocating for some things that a lot of us consider to be very anti-Second Amendment. And when she talks about Second Amendment and Fourth Amendment and Fifth Amendment, she's talking about illegal searches and seizures as well as due process.
Due process is how you changed Indiana's red flag law.
Made it a hell of a lot better. That's right.
You improved it.
Exactly. And I've spoken on Dana Lash's show about exactly that. So it is true that as Attorney General, that Pam Bondi fought for some things, defended some things that a lot of us weren't happy when Florida passed them. And I'm sure Second Amendment proponents in Florida specifically weren't happy about them.
Okay, let's take a break. I got one or two more things I want to ask you about on Monday Gun Day. Guy Relford filling in for Hammer. My name is Nigel. We'll be back.
Pat Sullivan here for the Michaelis Corporation. I'm here with Michaela to talk about water damage. Water damage at your home or business can come from heavy rains, broken or frozen pipes, and countless other ways. Michaela, if someone has a loss due to water, why should they call Michaelis?
Michaelis is a local, family-owned Indianapolis company with 39 years experience. We are manning the phones and ready to help 24/7, 365. Michaelis specializes in water damage restoration, is IICRC certified, and will restore your home or business to pre-loss condition or better.
I know a big part of getting back to normal is dealing with the insurance company. Can Michaelis help there?
Yes, Michaelis works through the entire process on your behalf to make it easy and give you peace of mind.
If you have water damage, call the Michaelis Corporation. Water, storms, fire, and mold, life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. Text or call 844-FIXED-INDY. That's 844-FIXED-INDY. Make it Michaelis.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9379. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9379. That's 800-575-9379. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
What does the joy of Christmas mean to you? A gift? Time with family? Decorations and traditions? At Shepherd Community, the joy of Christmas is learning to read, feeling safe and loved, finding a stable job, and having a community that cares. Shepherd gives its neighbors gifts of joy and hope for a brighter future. You can give the joy of Christmas to neighbors living in poverty, not just at the holidays, but all year long. Visit caringatchristmas.org/give. That's caringatchristmas.org/give.
I went to My Computer Career because I needed job security.
Because I wanted a career in cybersecurity.
I went to My Computer Career because IT jobs are everywhere.
My old job was going nowhere.
I went because I didn't want college loans for the rest of my life.
Because I wanted a career for the rest of my life.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. Classes available online or in person. Financial aid available for qualified students, including the GI Bill. 529 college savings plans accepted.
Not available in Washington State.
Have you lost Indiana Medicaid? At healthcare.gov, you can find a low-cost, quality health plan.
Do plans cover doctor visits?
What about emergency care?
And prescriptions?
All covered and more. Plus, with the new law, 4 out of 5 customers can find a plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Enroll today for coverage starting the 1st of next month. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
40 years of B-Window.
And 80,000 Indiana homes with windows, doors, siding, and bats.
Pam and I are happy to announce B's 100 employees now own B-Window. And Patrick Renard will lead B as CEO.
And B will continue the customer-first feeling that George and Pam built. And to celebrate B employee-owned, B's offering our Black Friday sale. 52% off, plus 10% manufacturer rebates, and 18 months, no interest, no payments.
Proud to be employee-owned. Woo!
Express the heartwarming message that says love is about being together. Let a Pierce Jewelers diamond engagement ring be the symbol that says, I love you. Shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers.
Avoid Black Friday frenzy at Sullivan Hardware and Garden with donuts, coffee, and mimosas early on the 29th while saving big. Shop, play, experience. Christmas with Sullivan's.
My man, Matt Bear, what's up?
What's happening, Nigel? Looking at inbound 65, stop and go 29th to Meridian Penn. Inbound 69, stop and go traffic 96th Street down to 82nd Street. And then on the east side, northbound 465, slow roll off East 56th. Traffic sponsored by Sullivan Hardware and Garden. Ready, set, go. Friday Frenzy going on now at Sullivan Hardware and Garden at Allisonville Home and Garden by Sullivan. I'm Matt Bear with traffic on the 5s. Follow us at WIBC Traffic.
60 in clouds. The American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Boom, boom, boom. Bang, bang, bang.
My name is Nigel. Guy Relford filling in for Hammer. It's the gun guy. He is licensed firearms instructor, 2A attorney. It is Monday Gun Day. A couple other things I wanted to run past you here. This guy in Missouri, the GOP rep, Eric Burleson, going to introduce a bill that's going to abolish the ATF. Is this something you could be potentially down with? Is there any redeeming qualities of the ATF at all?
Well, ATF
alcohol, tobacco, firearms.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think alcohol, tobacco, and firearms ought to be a convenience store, and you know, as opposed to a government agency. But secondly, they perform a couple of functions. As long as we're going to keep the National Firearms Act, that's what regulates things like machine guns and short-barreled rifles, short-barreled shotguns, suppressors. And there's a big argument we should do away with that completely. But as long as that's on the books, ATF is who administers that. So if I want to buy a suppressor right now, I need to get permission from the ATF, and they've gotten much more efficient in getting that done. It used to take you a year to get approval, and now the last one I bought 2 suppressors in the last year. They were down to like 4 days. So ATF serves a function in that capacity. However, their enforcement and how they've been treating gun stores during the 4 years of the Biden administration has been horrific. And they've clearly had an agenda of trying to abuse the rights of law-abiding citizens and trying to shut down law-abiding gun stores, and they've horribly abused it. I've seen it. They're seized property from people without charging them with crimes, and then just throwing up their hands going, well, sue us. I mean, there have been abuses that I've personally been involved in that are horrific. And so I'm not a fan of the ATF, especially the enforcement division and their industry operations division, as they've been treating gun stores for the last 4 years. So I think if we can't reform them dramatically, the idea of doing away with them and shifting some of those other responsibilities to other forms of law enforcement, I'd be all in favor of.
And then real quick, got about 60 seconds left. Pittsburgh. Basically, they tried to regulate firearms. Philly was trying to do what they want to do here in Indianapolis is enact its own gun laws.
Yeah.
Supreme Court in Pittsburgh said, right?
Yeah, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court said no. They have a preemption law out there. And
we do.
This is one of the most important laws we have here in Indiana. We've had ours since 2011. It says local governments can't regulate firearms. And that's huge because it prevented Boss Hogsett from doing what he wanted to do here in May County. Guarantee you, in Madison County, in Lake County, in St. Joseph County, we'd be seeing these local regulations pop up all over that would severely restrict Second Amendment rights. And the Preemption Act that we have here and have had for some time prevents that. That's what they're upholding out in Pennsylvania. And that's a really important law, and people don't give our legislature here enough credit because we have that on the books, and it's enforced through private litigation. I've filed more of those lawsuits than anybody in Indiana.
Hey, coming up, you'll never guess some of these. This new poll talking about do celebrity endorsements work when it's talking about the presidential election. Big surprise, they don't, but you're not going to believe some of these numbers. We'll have that for you after 4 o'clock on the Hammer and Nigel Show.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-285-0395. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-285-0395. 800-285-0395. 800-285-0395.
Planning to propose this holiday? Shane Company is ready to help you find your dream engagement ring. We handpick the most beautiful diamonds and colorful gemstones in all shapes and sizes. So when you walk in the door, you can trust your rock is in stock. At Shane Company, we've always sourced directly, cut out the middleman, and pass the savings on to you. We work with your budget, not against it. We'll also protect your ring for life with our free unmatched lifetime warranty. Come see us at shaneco.com and in-store. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Hi, this is Denny Smith for LD Smith Plumbing, and no, Lance Smith is not my son, but I'd sure be proud to call him so because he's built LD Smith Plumbing up the right way, year by year with great service and impeccable quality. Lance takes the dirty and stinky jobs and cleans them up with plumbing solutions that work. When you need a plumber, just go online at ldsmithplumbing.com. Sewer and drain service or everyday plumbing service, either way, you really will be contacting the best. ldsmithplumbing.com.
A true partner in your health dedicates time to understanding your needs. At CenterWell Senior Primary Care, doctors make one-on-one time with you a priority so you can get all your questions answered and feel more confident in your health care. See how it feels to have a team of senior care experts working together to help you feel your best. CenterWell, it's about time. Schedule a tour today at meetcenterwell.com. That's meetcenterwell.com.
Hearing about online threats every day can be stressful. McAfee Total Protection is here to help you live a worry-free life online. What does worry-free mean? You won't have to wonder if that text message is a scam, if new threats will pop up on your PC, or if you're safe from identity theft. Visit McAfee.com/online protection today to get up to 79% off award-winning online protection. Act fast. This Black Friday Cyber Monday deal won't last. Offer ends 12/4/24. That's McAfee.com/online protection. Cancel anytime. Terms apply.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Attention Indiana homeowners, are you dealing with a wet and moldy crawl space? Hi, I'm Adam Swain with Swain Co. Crawl Space and Basement Repair, your real, local, Indiana family-owned experts dedicated to fixing your crawl space right the first time. And with our new no interest, no payment financing, you can get the repairs you need without breaking the bank. Don't let crawl space water problems dampen your spirits. Call Swain Co., Indy's most trusted waterproofing experts at 317-407-1868 or swaincollc.com.
Coming up in 2 minutes, 2 people that were killed in 13 different shootings over the weekend. Indy FOP's president says the violence is also going to wind up hurting the local economy. Those stories and more are all coming up after Fox News Radio from the Technology Recycler Studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 4 o'clock.
Empty and lawless. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. That's how the president-elect describes all of the court cases against him, reacting to a federal prosecutor's motion to toss out 2 cases.
Special counsel Jack Smith is asking federal judges to sign off on requests to dismiss charges against President-elect Trump over his attempts to overturn the 2020 election and his handling of classified material after leaving office. The move was expected as part of long-standing Justice Department policy to not prosecute sitting presidents. In a court filing, Smith says that prohibition is categorical and does not turn on the gravity of the crimes charged, the strength of the government's proof, or the merits of the prosecution. The president-elect said both cases were politically motivated in part of what he says is the weaponization of the Justice Department.
Fox's Jared Halpern. A re-sentencing hearing for the Menendez brothers is pushed back from next month to January, allowing more time for the judge and the incoming prosecutor to review the case. L.A. County DA-elect Nathan Hochman telling Fox News.
It involves reviewing thousands of pages of prison records, thousands of pages of trial transcripts from 2 months-long trials, speaking to the prosecutors, speaking to defense counsel, speaking to law enforcement and the victim families. And at that point, I will be prepared to sort of weigh in on the Menendez case and defend that issue in court.
Eric and Lyle Menendez are serving life for the shotgun killings of their parents in 1989, but the outgoing DA recommended considering resentencing after allegations of sexual abuse by their father. A judge rejecting efforts to have a college volleyball player sidelined over concern she's transgender, leading several teams to forfeit matches with San Jose State. The U.S. magistrate judge says the player can play in the Mountain West Conference tournament, which begins Wednesday. Wall Street rallies, the Dow up 440 to a new record. America is listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A violent weekend. 60 degrees, cloudy over the monument. Nothing on your radar at the moment, but rain is possible before the day is up. Low of 28 tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 4:02. There were 13 shootings over the weekend in Indy, and 2 people died. One of them happened at the Brass Flamingo Strip Club Sunday morning. IMPD Captain Don Weilhammer says some folks decided to take things outside after getting into an argument.
Outside in the parking lot, numerous shots rang out, and unfortunately we have an adult male with wounds consistent with a gunshot wound.
And that man who was shot is still alive. And the FOP president, Rick Snyder, says the violence is not only claiming victims, but also hurting the local economy. Ryan Hedrick reports.
The state's economy depends on the well-being of Indianapolis, and when violence rises, it drives down tourism, which hurts the economy. FOP president Rick Snyder tells WIBC's Kendall and Casey that violence in the Circle City is on par with what Chicago is doing per capita.
We have already had 761 people shot, with 191 people killed so far this year. Our trend lines show that we'll exceed 200-plus homicides this year,
which would be the 5th straight year that has happened. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Pay attention to your forecast the next couple of days. Jason Puma with the National Weather Service says you might get some snow.
I think our confidence in our forecast will grow where those rain snow lines may set up will really be in the next 24 to 36 hours.
Puma says chances are stronger to the north for snowfall, but if you don't get any, you'll probably wind up just getting rain. The Circle of Lights is this Friday night in downtown Indianapolis on Monument Circle.
Pre-show starts at 5:15 p.m. The live event runs from 6 to 7 p.m. with a tree lighting ceremony shortly before 7 p.m. From 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., enjoy music and a visit from Santa.
IMPD Commander Charles de Blasio said this morning expect plenty of traffic and also plenty of cops around the circle to ensure safety throughout the weekend. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 4:04.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day, come to a physical office, and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through HIMSS.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through HIMSS.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
With traffic on the 5s at 4:05, here's Matt Baer.
Yeah, Harrison, southbound 65 stop-and-go traffic, 29th to Meridian Penn. At eastbound 70 slow to the south split from Harding. Eastbound 465 north side slow roll before and after Keystone Avenue. Westbound 465 stop-and-go traffic before Michigan Road into the 865 split. And then looking at southbound 69, not horrible, still slow 106th Street to 465. Traffic sponsored by BeerTalk.com. Stop overpaying for your cell phone plan. Peer Talk gives you unlimited talk, text, and data for just $25 a month on their 5G network. Dial pound 250 and say keyword switch now to save 50% off your first month. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And here's your forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
We'll keep the chance for isolated showers around to early tonight with breezy winds sticking around as lows fall all the way down to the low 30s. Tuesday, much colder with sunshine returning as highs only get into the low to mid 40s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Stephen Deanna for 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox on The Level on the Go and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
So let's rock it!
My name is Nigel. Guy Relford, the gun guy, filling in for Jason Hammer. I've never been somebody that pays attention to who endorses who when it comes to politics. I've never cared, and by that rule, I don't really make it known, or I don't endorse anybody. I don't tell people who I voted for. I don't tell people who to vote for. I would hope people understand that just by listening to this show, our values, our principles, you would probably know who we're voting for. But I don't tell somebody else who to vote for. I don't endorse anybody. I've never put a political sign, a political ad in my front yard. Are you a yard sign guy when it comes to like elections and stuff, Guy?
Not so much yard signs, but I'll put signs up in my office window in Carmel. Absolutely.
Okay.
You know, when some of the folks, like Representative Jerry Torr, who I consider a dear friend and a tremendous champion for Second Amendment rights in the Indiana General Assembly, you know, and it looked like he might have a closer election than what it turned out to be. I was proud to put a sign for him up and voiced my support. In terms of, you know, me caring who endorses whom, if there's a politician that I really respect, and I back them, you know, for their off, and they come out and endorse another politician, or, you know, some groups that I care about their opinion, you know, the Second Amendment Foundation, NRA back in the day, although I think they're clawing themselves back into credibility. Some of those groups that come out, I think that has an impact because you know what they stand for. But celebrities, oh God, no, absolutely not.
Look, if I knew, like, if Hunter Smith, who got the nod for a state rep in his district, if I was in his district, I think you were in his. Were you in Hunter Smith's district?
Yeah,
a former punter of the Indianapolis Colts, got a big.
Even though we're both in Zionsville, I think that dividing line goes between
Becky Cash. Was mine, and they both won. And I know Hunter and our family. We're family friends with people that are close to him. If he would have been in my district, I probably would have put something. He's been really good to this show, and he's been on the show a bunch of times, and I know him personally. So maybe I would have put, like, if it's somebody I know and I'm friends with that I know personally, maybe.
Yeah,
that would be a difference in terms of yard signs during elections.
Yeah, I would have voted. Well, I did vote for Hunter primarily because I saw him chase down Deion Sanders in a Colts game, which was still one of the most amazing things I've ever seen on a football field. But no, seriously, I mean, you know what positions he has. You know, if you agree with his politics, you know, then absolutely.
And the reason, here's where I'm going with this. A new poll shows the vast majority of Americans are rejecting celebrity endorsements of political candidates. This is a Rasmussen poll, which is kind of a blow to Democrats.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're the ones that rely on the Hollywood big shots, the elite there, to sway the young vote. And obviously, it didn't work. They're the ones that love to use the celebrities to amplify the left-wing talking points on social media. Now, listen to this number. It's kind of a surprise. People who identify as liberal were more likely than others to disregard the opinion of a celebrity, with a full 80% saying a Hollywood endorsement does not sway their decision this election season. Among conservatives, that number was 73%. Now, I would assume that if you're a liberal, you're already voting for the people that those celebrities are endorsing anyway.
Yeah, I think that's a big blow.
But that's not the point.
Yeah, to your point, though, Nigel, I think it's a big blow to Democrats because they seem to rely on that so much more. And I think it's laughable. I mean, just because I think someone is a good actor or a singer or whatever it might be, does that mean I care about their politics? And I go back, this is from, gosh, a good 20 years ago. But in my very best Homer Simpson, he said, celebrities, is there anything they don't know?
That's pretty good.
That wasn't down. That was okay.
That's not bad, man.
But I mean, and it was, you know, Homer Simpson making fun of celebrity endorsements. That goes back a long time, and it is funny because, you know, you don't know any more about politics than I do because you sing well or you act well, and I think that because the liberals were so inundated with it. You know, whether it's Beyonce or Taylor Swift or, you know, George Clooney or De Niro, it completely embarrassed himself this last election cycle.
They all did, yeah.
They all did. I mean, the more you get hit with that, the more you're likely to go, I'm going to vote for who I'm voting for, not because some actor or singer likes that candidate.
It's just so funny that Kamala spent hundreds of like $1 billion. She's $1 billion in debt on celebrity. A lot of those were celebrity stuff, like all the concerts the night before the election, the Oprah Winfrey thing, which cost her a couple of $1 million. She's actually fundraising still. Well, I think she's on vacation, the last I heard. I haven't seen the president or the vice president lately. I don't know who the hell's running this country, but back to the original point, like the Oprah live stream reportedly cost Kamala $2.5 million.
Yeah.
And for what?
Yeah.
For what? You have Katy Perry and Clooney and Julia Roberts, Jennifer Lawrence, Beyonce, Taylor Swift, the biggest name in show business, had this whole diatribe on Instagram about how she's voting for Kamala, blah, 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 blah. Didn't work. And it didn't work by a landslide.
And the Beyonce thing actually backfired on her because they had this big fundraiser. I think it was in Texas, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
But they had this big fundraiser, and they said Beyonce's going to be there, and Beyonce, come see Beyonce. And they all these people came and they stood in line, and Beyonce came out and said something nice about Kamala, and then left and did not perform. And so you had a whole bunch of people all ticked off.
They thought she was going to perform.
They got suckered into going thinking they were going to hear Beyonce. And I think you alienated a bunch of people with that. But, yeah, all that is expensive. And it helped plunge the campaign. $20 million, I think, is where they ended up in debt after spending over $1 billion altogether.
And I think that a lot of these celebrities like Rob Reiner, who's a famous director, directed Stand By Me and Top Gun, A Few Good Men with Tom Cruise. Some of my favorite movies. Great director, Meathead from All in the Family.
Yeah.
I mean, he had to check himself into a rehab clinic to get away from all the negativity. Oh, speaking of that, the new social media platform, Blue Sky. Have you heard of Blue Sky? This is where all the celebrity. You haven't heard it's the new like kind of X Twitter-like social media. It's called Blue Sky. Millions of people have joined, and it was a project started by Twitter co-founder Jack Dorsey. Now he's not in charge of it, but it's kind of it's like a place where people that don't like X or Elon Musk or Elon Musk's politics because he bought X and kind of turned it around and revamped it. This is everybody's going to Blue Sky now because X is toxic.
Well,
I'm glad they're just now realizing that social media is toxic.
Yeah, well, but what I guarantee you, what the number one attraction is for Blue Sky now is they're going to have an acceptable level of censorship for these people. That's what they want. They we want to come here. We want to sit in our echo chamber. We only want to hear one side because when you hear both sides of an argument, like you can now have on Twitter or X, that's toxic. Well, toxic is defined by them as anything they don't agree with.
Yeah, if you say, I believe that women are biologically women, they cannot be a biological man on Blue Sky, that'll get you thrown off.
I feel the need for a cookie and a teddy bear right now, just having sat here and listened to you say that.
But more than 115,000 X users deactivated their accounts a day after the election went over to Blue Sky, which is a drop in the bucket for X and Elon Musk's outfit there, because they probably have about 550 million monthly users. That's monthly. So 115,000. I mean, they do have millions of people signing up, but it's still nowhere compared. And I think mentioning Rob Reiner again, the progressive liberal Hollywood director, again, who I love his work. Go watch LBJ. I even liked LBJ, a more recent directorial effort from him. He said it now even. Blue Sky is getting too toxic. I got news for these celebrities and people that are leaving X because it's too toxic. All social media everywhere is toxic. Is that too hard of a concept to get past for people? Don't you agree? I mean, every place is toxic.
Well, exactly.
You just got to filter out. And X, by the way, is the #1 free news gathering app right now out there. So, in other words, just from a pure news gathering point of view, people downloading apps for news, X is #1, followed by like Reddit and Substack, and there's a free version of the New York Times. X is up there at #1, and #1 for people that pay for it. So if you pay the premium price and don't get the ads, it's #1 as well.
Yeah.
All right, Matt Baer, my man, what's going on with traffic?
Inbound 65 stop and go traffic 29th to Meridian Penn. That is a 6-minute delay. East side northbound 465 slows off Penn Bike up to 75th. Eastbound 465 stop and go Keystone Avenue to the White River. Inbound 69 dragging from 96th Street down to 82nd. And then looking at westbound 465 north side stop and go traffic before and after Michigan Road. Traffic sponsored by PureTalk.com. Stop overpaying for your cell phone plan. Pure Talk gives you unlimited talk, text, and data for just $25 a month on their 5G network. Dial pound 250 and say keyword switch now to save 50% off your first month. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Bottom of the hour, we're going to bring on a crime prevention expert. His name's Lieutenant Randy Sutton. He's retired, 30 years in law enforcement, wrote multiple books on law enforcement. There's a transnational gang that have been targeting professional athletes in their homes when they're away. We've seen this in California with a lot of big-time celebrities, too. They've been making millions of dollars breaking into these people's homes. They broke into Patrick Mahomes' house, Travis Kelce, Kansas City. So we're going to talk to this guy. I hadn't heard this stuff about Mahomes and Kelce from the Kansas City Chiefs. This is like a thing that's huge. You're going to want to stick around for this conversation. It's coming up a little bit after 4:30 with retired Lieutenant Randy Sutton. Up next, it's Is This Anything? 60 at the American Standard Heating Weather Center, 93 WIBC.
Ceasefire deal with Iran-backed Hezbollah militants could be just days away.
Tentatively agreed to a U.S.-backed proposal.
93 WIBC.
Shootings happened this weekend at the Brass Flamingo Strip Club.
Numerous shots rang out.
191 homicides this year.
Hear the news.
Indiana's first loss to second-ranked Ohio State dropped them from 5th to 10th.
Another news update is minutes away.
Notre Dame went up from 6th to 5th.
93 WIBC Mobile News.
Hey, what's going on? It's Nigel, Hammer and Nigel Show. Took my wife and my about-to-be 13-year-old to Diamonds Direct over at Keystone at the Crossing a couple of weeks ago. Picked out something very cool for my son's 13th birthday coming up. It's a big one, and they made it so easy. Stay within our budget. Such a relaxed, no-pressure atmosphere over there. Everybody's really great and polite. Chris helped us out. Lots of amazing gift ideas at Diamonds Direct. Stunning eternity bands. Classic diamond studded earrings, something new and eye-catching from a world-class designer, or maybe you're looking for that perfect engagement ring, or how about a fabulous Swiss timepiece? Diamonds Direct, they have perfect gifts for the season, starting at around just $300. It's your best destination for holiday jewelry. Get details, special showroom hours, and holiday gift guide now. DiamondsDirect.com. I love Diamonds Direct. I've shopped there many times. Great service, great value, great people. Diamonds Direct, best jewelry store ever over there at Keystone at the Crossing. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Your business needs a network it can count on.
Power's out.
Comcast Business has you covered with Wi-Fi backup to help keep your business up and running, even when your power goes out.
Everybody in the warehouse good?
Lights are out, but the Wi-Fi's up. Let's power on.
It's from the company with 99.9% network reliability.
Break room, you good?
Can't microwave my burrito, but Wi-Fi's fine. Let's power on.
Power on with the leader in connectivity, Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Learn how to get Comcast Business Internet, Security Edge, and Wi-Fi backup for $59 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement when you add Comcast Business Mobile Unlimited. Plus, for a limited time, find out how to get an $800 holiday bonus prepaid card with a qualifying gig bundle. Don't wait. Call or go online to ComcastBusiness.com today. Ends 12/15/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 300 megabit per second internet, Security Edge, and Connection Pro. EcoBill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra and subject to change.
Discover cancer care that empowers you at Community Health Network MD Anderson Cancer Center. With leading-edge treatment options right in your backyard.
I feel blessed and lucky. If I knew someone that was going through what I was going through, I would definitely encourage them to participate in a clinical trial. For me, it was life-changing.
Learn more at ecommunity.com/cancer.
Pat Sullivan here. Fire emergency? I've had one. If you do, call Michaelis. Owner Richard Michaelis explains why.
Michaelis is local and family owned. 39 years of experience with 24/7, 365 response. The Michaelis Corporation is IICRC certified, restoring your home or business to pre-loss condition or better.
And Michaelis helps you through the insurance process, giving you peace of mind. Water, storms, fire, and mold. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. Text or call 844-FIX-INDY.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy two. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Military veterans and active duty service members, you could become a certified cyber warrior with just 12 weeks of training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, and IT pros with these skills often enjoy abundant opportunity and a great lifestyle. Protect our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. GI Bill, SkillBridge, and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP.
Can you hear me? So can your customers. Get your message heard. Text business to 71007 now. Get results with Radio 1.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Pierce Jewelers, Carmel's Diamond Engagement Ring Store.
Hammer and Nigel presents
It depends upon what the meaning of the word is.
Is this anything?
All right, let's rock and roll.
All right, Guy Relford in for Hammer. I'm Nigel. I'll run a few of these by you, Guy. Maybe we both can have a little fun here. This school bus, right? Did you ride the bus to school when you were a kid?
Yeah, I absolutely did. As a young kid, you bet.
Yeah, how long? Like, how long were you on a bus? Like, when I was going to back and forth to North Salem, kindergarten through 6th grade, hour total on the bus.
No, I mean, no. I mean, I went to Carmel, and I lived like 106 where Keystone is now.
Okay,
so it was 15.
I lived out in the sticks. It took between pickups and drop off, and out there and living in Liston and having to go out to North Salem, about an hour each way.
Yeah.
A school bus driver in Colorado got fired. Could face charges after dumping 40 elementary school kids on the side of the road in freezing weather. He was a fill-in, didn't know the stops. Here are 2 of the elementary school passengers that were on the bus.
We got on the bus, and there was a substitute, and he wouldn't let us leave the school until we stopped talking. And he was skipping all the kids' stops. And we felt like when he was driving and missing our stops, like we were getting kidnapped. He stopped right here at this intersection, and he said, "Everybody get off my bus." And then everybody was like stressing, like crying. And we forgot our jackets on the bus. Me and my little sister, we live like 2 miles away from here. We had like no idea what to do.
Yeah, and so, Guy, is this anything? A stranger ended up helping these kids and calling their parents. Could you imagine getting a call from a stranger saying, have your kids on the side of the road because the school bus driver kicked them off?
Yeah, well, God bless the Good Samaritan, but why this is something to me, it absolutely is. This happened to my kid back in the day when my kids were young, or now my grandkids. Oh, me and that bus driver, we're having a talk. And it's not going to go well for that bus driver.
And not only that, but the parents should have a talk with the administration.
Yes.
And the people that hired this moron who didn't know the stops and kicked who hired this guy? How was he allowed to drive a bunch of kids around if he didn't know the stops?
Well, and then something else, I'd be putting in a call to the local prosecutor because this could very easily be neglect of a dependent.
Oh,
because during that time, when those kids are on that school bus, who's in charge of, who's responsible for those kids' safety? It's that school bus driver. And for him to intentionally do something by putting these kids off in freezing temperatures, some without their coats, how is that not intentionally endangering a child that's entrusted to your care? That's a crime. And this person, in my mind, ought to be in handcuffs.
White Castle. White Castle. Being mocked online for claiming... They're claiming its burgers make really good Thanksgiving stuffing.
You've never had that?
Are you serious?
Oh, absolutely. I'm serious.
Hold on. Here's what White Castle posted on Instagram.
Did you know if you take original White Castle sliders with no pickle, cut or tear them into small pieces, add finely diced celery, black pepper, thyme, and sage, pour in chicken stock, and toss all of that together really well. Then spread it into a casserole dish and bake it at 350 degrees for 35 minutes or until done. You get the most unexpectedly delicious stuffing and the dish that will disappear first at your Thanksgiving gathering.
You know, I hate stuffing, the traditional stuffing. I don't eat it, or the dressing or whatever. I don't eat that crap. But I guess I would say I would try this.
Well,
what are you talking about? You've done this before?
Oh, absolutely. Well, I have had it multiple times.
Oh, really?
Yeah. In fact, in another life, before I started my own practice many years ago, I worked for a much larger organization where we would have pitch-ins all the time. And whenever we had a holiday pitch-in, we had a couple of the administrative staff that worked there who would always bring in White Castle stuffing as for their contribution to the pitch-in, and it was probably the most popular dish.
You got to be kidding me.
It's
You've
good.
had it?
It's really good. And let me just tell you, when you say you hate stuffing, Nigel, I can tell you there's one reason why you hate stuffing, and that is because you haven't had White Castle stuffing.
My boss, David, just texted me, FYI, Sean Copeland from B1057 made White Castle dressing last weekend. Said it was incredible. Half my sliders were jalapeno cheddar, which I thought could be weird, but the little kick added was okay. All right, I'm down because I don't like the traditional stuff. But you're right. I've never even heard of it. I've never even thought to make White Castle.
Well, I have a mission, because I do a lot of the cooking around our house, and I have a mission, man. I'm gonna bring you some White Castle stuffing.
Excellent. It's a Hammer and Nigel show.
This Christmas, as you're picking out gifts for loved ones, take a moment to think about the future gift you can give yourself. The gift of a secure retirement. Howard Bailey Financial is here to help you unwrap the possibilities of peace and confidence. With our free retirement toolkit, you'll get practical steps and insights to plan for the years ahead. From saving strategies to planning tips, this toolkit is like a financial compass for your future. And best of all, it's completely free to download. Don't wait until next year to start planning. Text GIFT to 888-262-1104. Download your free retirement toolkit and give yourself the gift of financial confidence this holiday season. That's GIFT to 888-262-1104 to start planning today. Howard Bailey Security, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
Okay, we are running a car drive right now to help veterans all across America. So if you have an old car, truck, or van, even a motorcycle or an RV sitting around, you can right now give it away and help the vets. They really need your help. And your car will help support the vets and their families. And guess what? You even get a tax donation. Plus, we'll even come and pick up your car for free. And all you've got to do is pick up your phone right now and make a free call. Now is the perfect time to do something good for the vets. Give back to the vets right now for all they've done for this country. And your old car can really help them. So call the Veterans Car Donation Program right now for free pickup of your vehicle. Help the vets and help your taxes at the same time. Call right now.
800-883-3024. 800-883-3024. 800-883-3024. That's 800-883-3024.
In the fight against lung cancer, it's game on, game strong. Franciscan Health leads the way with robotic technology to find and treat cancer sooner. Our entire team of multidisciplinary experts let cancer know it's hard to play against us. Franciscan Health is changing the game for lung cancer patients. Schedule a consultation or second opinion today. Visit franciscanhealth.org/lung cancer care.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
It was a busy weekend for police. Cloudy, 60 degrees downtown. Some scattered rain beginning to show itself south of Indianapolis. Low of 28 tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 4:30. It was a violent weekend in Indy. 13 people were shot. 2 people fatally shot. 3 were stabbed. In separate incidents, NDFOP President Rick Snyder says the city's on track for more than 200 homicides this year.
This is what I say to people outside of Indianapolis. Sometimes they'll say, hey, that's in Indianapolis. That's not where I live. Why does it matter to me? The reason why it matters to you is because it is your capital city of the state of Indiana. And as goes the capital city, so goes the rest of the state.
Snyder talking with WIBC's Kendall and Casey. There have been 191 homicides this year. Indianapolis has been over 200 each year the last 4 years. The special counsel in President-elect Trump's federal election interference case is filed to drop the charges. Trump had faced felony charges connected with his efforts that he was accused of to overturn the 2020 presidential election results. The Supreme Court put the entire case in doubt earlier this year when justices ruled Trump had some presidential immunity, and then now, of course, he's going to be president here in a couple of months. Congress is going to welcome plenty of new members who pulled off some major wins on Election Day. Fox's Ryan Schmelz reports.
Pennsylvania's Congressman-elect Ryan McKenzie was able to flip the Commonwealth's 7th Congressional District by defeating incumbent Susan Wild. McKenzie tells Fox News Radio he hopes to push legislation to improve workforce development for in-demand jobs and protect American workers from what he calls cheap foreign labor.
I think we want skilled, highly skilled American workers who have all the latest tools and technology at their disposal so that they can be more productive in the jobs that they're in.
McKenzie was recently the Republican chair of the Labor and Industry Committee in the Pennsylvania legislature. In Washington, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
You could get some snow. If not, you'll get rain both Wednesday and Thursday, says Jason Puma with the National Weather Service.
On Wednesday and on Thanksgiving Day, we're going to see a storm system moving into the area, and there will be chances for precipitation. And some of that precipitation could be in the form of snow.
Puma says it's more likely that the northern half of the state gets that snow than the southern half. You'll have a better idea of what's possible in about 24 hours. A good day to start the week in the market. The Dow was up by 440 to 44,736. The Nasdaq in the green by 51, closing at 19,054. The S&P 500 also up by 18 points. 5,987 is where it's closed today. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 4:32.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9379. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-9379. That's 800-575-9379.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
With traffic at 434, how are the roads, Matt Baer?
Crash in Lawrence Harrison 79th at Sunnyside Road. Watch out for that. We have a crash reported on 69. Walking up to 82nd Street, we do see stop and go traffic on inbound 69 from 82nd back to 96. Eastbound 465 slow. Westfield Boulevard over to the White River. Westbound 465 dragging from Meridian 31 over to 865. Northbound 465 stop and go traffic 86th Street up to 865. Inbound 65 slow roll MLK to Meridian Penn, delay time of 5 minutes. Eastbound 70 stop and go traffic Belmont into the south split, and on the south side eastbound 465 dragging from Kentucky Avenue over to the White River. Traffic sponsored by Sullivan Hardware in Garden. Are you ready for Friday Frenzy? Join us Friday from 7:30 to 9:30 a.m. for donuts and coffee at Sullivan Hardware in Garden and Allisonville Home and Garden by Sullivan. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
We'll keep the chance for isolated showers around to early tonight with breezy winds sticking around as lows fall all the way down to the low 30s. Tuesday, much colder with sunshine returning as highs only get into the low to mid 40s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Stephen Deanna for 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
The Hammer and Nigel Show. My name is Nigel. Guy Relford filling in for Hammer. And a story on NBC Sports caught my eye. I didn't know this. The FBI is investigating whether last month's burglaries at the homes of Chiefs quarterback Pat Mahomes and tight end Travis Kelce were part of some sort of transnational crime ring. The NFL believes that it is. They sent a memo out to its players. They said there's a crime spree targeting NBA and NFL players. And they're saying it's a South American syndicate believed to be responsible for this rash of high-profile burglaries. I want to bring in Lieutenant Randy Sutton. He is a retired law enforcement expert that's spent a lot of time in New Jersey and Las Vegas. He's the author of a number of books on law enforcement. Lieutenant Sutton, how are you? Thanks for joining us.
Oh, I appreciate you having me on. It's it's an interesting topic.
Well, does this sound familiar to you at all? I saw this kind of flew under the radar. Transnational crime rings targeting NFL and NBA players?
Well, they're only targeting them at this time. They've actually been active for a number of years.
Wow.
They are responsible for millions and millions and millions of dollars in thefts and burglaries over the years. It's an interesting investigation and very difficult one because you're talking about literally a group of people flying in from Chile, Colombia, Peru, Ecuador. Now they're not all associated with one another, but they are taking advantage of the criminal justice system here in the States. They've been predominantly going after people in California, Hollywood types, very wealthy people, and what makes it difficult is that they go to different jurisdictions. They're highly sophisticated. They use equipment that can defeat security systems. They use drones for surveillance.
Wow.
It is very sophisticated stuff. And the NFL people that they're targeting now, they're right in their target window because they're very wealthy, and they're going after things that can raise. They can literally pop a house like that and walk out with $300,000-$400,000 or even millions of dollars.
So this isn't like some smash and grab job. This is, according to public records, these groups rely on public records. You mentioned drones and surveillance. They're checking schedules and social media accounts. They wait for the houses to be empty. And you're saying in some cases, even if a high-profile athlete sets their alarm in their house when they're away, they can beat that?
Yeah, they have found that they have equipment that can defeat many of the security systems. And one of the people that was arrested was a 17-year-old Chilean guy, and because of the lax laws in California, he was released with no bail, low bail.
Wow.
And went out and surprisingly did it again.
Yeah, you had mentioned in the opening there, you said these guys are flying in from different southern countries and taking advantage of the criminal justice system.
Absolutely, they are, and even after, and we're talking high dollar amounts here. There's still the criminal justice system, especially in California, has been so lax when it comes down to prosecutions, and of course, Gascon, the district attorney there, which thankfully has been defeated.
Yes,
basically didn't prosecute any of these crimes. So it is literally carte blanche for them, and with no risk.
And these guys are getting into the country. It's not like this is some thing where they're sneaking in through the southern border. They're coming here legitimately.
Both.
Oh, okay.
But they're coming in on lax tourist visas.
Gotcha.
Because there's very, very little scrutiny there.
Speaking with Lieutenant Randy Sutton, crime prevention expert, longtime veteran of law enforcement, talking about these high-profile burglaries especially Pat Mahomes, Travis Kelce, part of some transnational crime rings. Lieutenant, I was a radio DJ. I've been in radio almost 30 years. In my 20s, I was always throwing parties at my house. There was friends of friends of friends. People I didn't know were always coming to my house. And then it was pretty easy to tell when I wasn't home. And I got broken into twice in the early 2000s. I was on the radio. Oh, Nigel's not home. I was just at a party with a friend of a friend of a friend. Let's go kick in his door and steal everything he has. That happened to me twice. Is part of this, like I read this NBC News article, and they're keeping track of these players' social media accounts and schedules, right?
Yes, that's correct. There are several ways that they target folks. With the high-profile people, especially with a member of a team, they know exactly where they're going to be. Now, that doesn't mean that there aren't people that stay at the residence, children, things like that.
Sure.
But that's where their surveillance comes in, and they're very adept at doing the surveillance and doing their research. So that's what makes this such a challenging investigation. Multiple jurisdictions. Very often, one department will know that they're investigating something of a very similar nature that happens either across the state or even a different state. And so that's why the FBI is involved, because this is a multi-state conspiracy.
And again, like I mentioned earlier, this isn't like there's something where they come and kick on the door and it's smash and grab. You're saying, I mean, this is extensive surveillance, checking team schedules, social media accounts, but you have to be pretty adept. You have to know what you're doing when you're messing with alarm systems and stuff like that. So it's not like these guys, these South American syndicates are dummies. They learned this somewhere. Where are they learning all this?
Oh yeah, absolutely. They actually have in some of the people that have been arrested, they determined that they received this training in South America. And they go to school for this. I don't know what the college is. It Crook College? I don't know.
Yeah. Wow.
But yeah, they're getting trained in these sophisticated techniques and utilizing equipment, and so you're talking about a very challenging crime venture for law enforcement to bust out, and then even when they're arrested. They go back home and they're never extradited, and that's the end of it.
Yeah. We have somewhat of a similar problem here in Indianapolis. We call it the revolving door of the criminal justice system, Lieutenant. We're speaking with Lieutenant Randy Sutton, as a retired crime prevention expert, talking about some of these high-profile burglaries with celebrities and NFL and NBA athletes. So where do we go from it? What can I learn from this crime spree? Like, I never post when I go on vacation now. I never post pictures until after I'm home. You know what I mean? I mean, that's kind of a basic thing you could do. What could normal people learn from crime sprees like this? And what else could we do to prevent? I read a note like some celebrities are lining up for high-priced security dogs. Now, not everybody can do that, I know, but what can Joe Sixpack learn from something like this?
Well, in order to target harden your place, well, let me say this: if somebody wants to get in and they're sophisticated like this, they're getting in. There's no way to
really.
Yeah. Unfortunately, unless you're a mega millionaire and you have you make a fortress. Nobody lives like that. But here's what they're going after is jewelry. They're going after jewelry and things that they can sell very, very quickly. They're not going after your TVs. They're not going after your electronics. They're going after stuff, money, cash, sometimes guns, and jewelry items that especially, that's why they're targeting very, very high value, high net worth people. Because they're going after the stuff that they can. I mean, one house they hit, they got $8 million worth of jewelry.
Wow.
$8 million. So what's the answer to that? Well, a safe deposit box for your really if you have that kind of you want to safeguard it in a really secure safe and or put it in a safe deposit box. But this is what they're going after. So and generally speaking, they're not armed. They don't want confrontation. But they have gone into homes where people are there because they missed somebody. In fact, one of right outside of Hollywood, they broke into a home thinking no one was there, but there actually was, and as a result, she called the police, and the police got there and wound up arresting 4 of them. So they're not infallible, that's for sure. They have not been known to be armed, but that doesn't mean that doesn't mean that there's not danger, because when confronted, you never know.
Hey, Lieutenant, we're speaking with Lieutenant Randy Sutton, crime prevention expert. Fascinating and scary stuff. Is there anything you want to mention before we let you go here? You have a podcast. I know you're the founder of The Wounded Blue, and you got a book coming out. Anything you want to talk about?
I would love to. I have a great podcast called A Cop's Life that I urge people to get your podcast on Apple or wherever you get your podcast, A Cop's Life. And The Wounded Blue is an organization that is doing so much good for injured and disabled police officers. We're a nationwide charity that helps injured and disabled officers, thewoundedblue.org. That is
Lieutenant Randy Sutton, crime prevention expert. Lieutenant, I hope we can keep you in the Rolodex, have you on again, man. This was insightful conversation. Have a great Thanksgiving, okay?
Thank you. You too.
It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
A true partner in your health dedicates time to understanding your needs. At CenterWell Senior Primary Care, doctors make one-on-one time with you a priority, so you can get all your questions answered and feel more confident in your health care. See how it feels to have a team of senior care experts working together to help you feel your best. CenterWell, it's about time. Schedule a tour today at meetcenterwell.com. That's meetcenterwell.com.
Hey, if you haven't tried Barkeep Vodka yet, you're missing out. It's the cleanest vodka ever. They utilize a new compression filtering process that reduces bite, burn, and aftertaste. Really one of the smoothest vodkas I've ever had. And it's a better value than almost all the other top-shelf vodka.
Made in Indy, distilled with corn from Indiana farmers. And if that's not enough, it's just a better product. It's an amazing vodka. Nigel and I know what we're talking about here. So visit any Indiana grocery store, liquor store, or visit barkeepvodka.com. Barkeepvodka.com. Get that list of locations.
Lovebirds, you're in for a treat. With your holiday proposal just around the corner, Shane Company is here to help you create your dream engagement ring. This is your moment. Let's make it magical. Through 4 generations as a family business, we've helped tons of couples find a beautiful engagement ring for a price that works with their budget. We've always sourced diamonds directly, cut out the middleman, and passed the savings on to you. At Shane Company, we have the widest selection of ring settings and center stones, in stock and ready to compare side by side. It's so easy. Choose a look that brings your vision to life. From classic styles to modern designs, we have them all. Then pick out a natural or lab-grown diamond, a sapphire in your favorite color, or a vibrant gemstone like ruby or amethyst. With our everyday competitive prices and free lifetime warranty, your forever after is safe with us. Visit shaneco.com and come see us in store. We've got your dream ring and fine jewelry gifts for everyone on your list. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Hey, it's Big Joe for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, Absolute Comfort. Chris Wedekin is the owner, and he tells us why many homeowners are giving up their air conditioners for a high-efficiency heat pump.
By removing your air conditioner and replacing it with a heat pump, you are not only saving by getting a higher efficiency air conditioner, the heat pump works in reverse and saves you money in the wintertime as well.
See if a heat pump is the right move for you by going to AbsoluteComfort.org. Absolute Comfort is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey, it's
it's Rob. Right now, schedule your free in-home estimate. For every 2 windows you buy, you get the next 2 free, plus 0% financing for 60 months. That's 5 years. Restrictions apply. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
911, what's your emergency?
In an emergency, voice is best. But what if you can't call?
Escalated domestic disturbance reported east of downtown. Be advised, alert was received by a 911 emergency text. Caller is hiding in a closet and can't use her voice.
When the situation is too dangerous to make a call, text to 911 Capability Now helps Hoosiers. But in most emergencies, voice is still best.
I slid off the road and the airbag went off. The snow's getting heavier. Please hurry.
In the last 5 years, Hoosiers have used text capability in over 1 million 911 sessions. It's of great help to the deaf and speech impaired and to those in select dangerous situations. Thanks to the statewide 911 board, Indiana leads the nation with all 92 counties having in- and outbound text capability. For more, visit in911.net.
It's good to hear your voice. Help is on the way.
911. Before you text, voice is best.
She's too special for just an average gift. See Pierce Jewelers for the breathtaking sparkle in their rare, one-of-a-kind, fancy colored diamond collection. Shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers.
Join Sullivan Hardware and Garden early on Friday. Enjoy a little breakfast and save on gifts, decor, clothing, jewelry, and more. Shop, play, experience Christmas with Sullivan's.
Matthew McConaughey, what's going on with traffic?
All right. Looking in Lawrence, crash 79th at Sunnyside Road. Eastbound 465 on the north side, stop and go traffic. Westfield Boulevard to the White River. Northbound 465 slows from 86th Street up to 865. Inbound 69, stop and go from 106 to 96. Inbound 65 dragging big time. MLK to Meridian Penn, that's a 9-minute delay. Eastbound 70, stop and go traffic. Belmont to the south, split for a 9-minute delay. Westbound 465, a little bit slow around 65 on the south side, and eastbound 465 slow on the southwest side from 70 to the White River. Traffic sponsored by Sullivan Hardware and Garden. Sullivan Hardware and Garden, ready, set, go. Friday Frenzy going on now at Sullivan Hardware and Garden in Allisonville, home and garden by Sullivan. I'm Matt Bear with traffic on the 5s. Follow us at WIBC Traffic.
58 at the American Standard Heating Weather Center, 93 WIBC. My name is Nigel. Guy Relford, the gun guy, filling in for Jason Hammer. I don't know about you, the day after Thanksgiving, we have a family tradition lately of going to the movie theater. I've heard nothing but good things about Gladiator 2. My old man went to see it and said it was awesome. But we're going to see Moana 2, which is opening up, I believe, this weekend. I mean, it was a huge weekend for the box office with Gladiator 2 and the movie Wicked guy. Yeah, have you heard about Wicked?
Well, I knew
Ariana
the play.
Grande.
I never saw it, but I knew what the play was about.
Yeah,
so.
something with the Wizard of Oz and the Wicked Witch and Esmeralda, right? And that did huge. But we're taking the kids to see Moana 2, which I believe opens this weekend. And so
that's
Wicked
with the
open.
Rock, right?
Yes, I think that's The Rock. Yeah, he's one of the voices in it. And is that right? So Wicked opened up at $114 million. That's kind of a kids. Is it a kids? I think it's kind of more or less a kids movie, right? No, producer Kurt's kind of like, I don't know. But Moana's okay. So Wicked opened up at $114 million. Moana 2 expected to do $225 million.
Wow.
In its debut. And yeah, we'll be there. I'm hoping I can sneak out. I'm hoping Gladiator 2 guy is playing at the same time. Because I'll go with my kids to see the movies and stuff, but we got grandparents and stuff with us then, so they don't need me as much there. Maybe I could slip over and see Gladiator 2. Does that have any appeal to you at all, Gladiator 2?
I mean, I love the original Gladiator.
Sure.
And when I heard they were coming out with Gladiator 2, my first thought was, man, either Russell Crowe has been replaced. Well, I mean, he died at the end of the first one, right? So you got to believe he's not in it. But if he was, he must have spent a lot of time in the gym, because last couple of movies I've seen him in, looked like he might have been hitting the White Castles pretty hard himself.
Russell Crowe definitely making White Castle stuffing this Thanksgiving. Coming up after 5 o'clock, what happened to the Colts? We'll talk about IU with Kevin Bowen at 5:20. We'll do Ask the Gun Guy segment a little bit after 5:30, call-in segment, and then a little bit after 5. Where's our president? Where's our vice president? Who's running this country? I'm not sure I have the answer for you, but we'll do our best. It's the Hammer and Nigel Show on 93 WIBC.
Your business needs a network it can count on.
Power's out.
Comcast Business has you covered with Wi-Fi backup to help keep your business up and running, even when your power goes out.
Everybody in the warehouse good?
Lights are out, but the Wi-Fi's up. Let's power on.
It's from the company with 99.9% network reliability.
Break room, you good?
Can't microwave my burrito, but Wi-Fi's fine. Let's power on.
Power on with the leader in connectivity, Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Learn how to get Comcast Business Internet, Security Edge, and Wi-Fi backup for $59 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement when you add Comcast Business Mobile Unlimited. Plus, for a limited time, find out how to get an $800 holiday bonus prepaid card with a qualifying gig bundle. Don't wait. Call or go online to ComcastBusiness.com today. Ends 12/15/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 300 megabit per second internet, Security Edge, and Connection Pro. EcoBill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra and subject to change.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9379. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9379. That's 800-575-9379. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Earn, save, grow. It's time your money works harder and goes further with a Stockyards Bank and Trust CD. For a limited time, earn 5.15 annual percentage yield with our 5-month CD special. Proudly serving our communities since 1904. Visit any of our 5 Indianapolis area locations or syb.com/IndyCD today and experience the Stockyards Bank difference. 10,000 minimum balance required. Limited time offer. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
You might not consider yourself a tech expert, but you can still protect yourself from online scammers with McAfee Total Protection. From fake delivery texts to bank alerts, scams are everywhere. That's where McAfee Total Protection steps in. McAfee will help keep your devices and identity safer and your private info private. Visit McAfee.com/online protection and get up to 79% off award-winning online protection. This Black Friday Cyber Monday deal won't last. Offer ends 12/4/24. That's McAfee.com/online protection. Cancel anytime. Terms apply.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Martha was ready to switch to a career in IT.
There's always a need for IT specialists, especially with AI coming out and cybersecurity. It's practically recession-proof.
My Computer Career even provides job placement help.
The career specialists, they're very helpful. They care about you as a person. You're not just a number to them. I would recommend My Computer Career wholeheartedly to anyone.
Take the free career evaluation today. Become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu. Not available in Washington State.
Coming up in 2 minutes, there were 13 different shootings in Indianapolis over the weekend. You could be getting some snow on Thanksgiving. Ryan Hedrick will tell you more about that and how the city of Indianapolis is getting ready for the Circle of Lights this Friday night. Those stories and more coming up after Fox News Radio from the Technology Recyclers Studios. Cloudy with temperatures in the lower 60s downtown. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 5 o'clock.
This
is a Fox News alert. Case dismissed. I'm Lisa Brady. A federal judge just granting a request to toss out the federal election interference case against President-elect Donald Trump, just hours after special counsel Jack Smith filed the motion for dismissal after Trump's election win. But Smith wrote that prohibition on prosecuting sitting presidents is categorical and is not about the gravity of the charges, the strength of the government's proof, or the merits of prosecution.
A similar filing was made to the U.S. Appeals Court overseeing a case charging the president-elect with mishandling classified documents after he left office. In a statement, a spokesman for the Trump transition team says the decision by the Justice Department ends the unconstitutional federal cases and is a major victory for the rule of law.
Fox's Jared Halpern, the classified documents case had been tossed out by a different judge earlier this year, but Smith was appealing that decision. The U.S. pushing for a ceasefire between Israel and Iran-backed Hezbollah in Lebanon.
We believe we're close. The conversations that Amos had were very positive.
National Security Communications Director John Kirby referring to a U.S. envoy. Israel's cabinet reportedly planning a possible vote tomorrow. A pair of turkeys from Minnesota winning a pardon from President Biden.
And today, Peach and Blossom will join the free birds of the United States of America.
Continuing a decades-old tradition at the White House, where he also reflected on his final Thanksgiving as president, calling it the honor of his life and saying he's forever grateful. First Lady Jill Biden presiding over a different holiday tradition for the final time, welcoming the White House Christmas tree this year from a farm in western North Carolina, a region devastated by Hurricane Helene.
The Cartner family lost thousands of trees in the storm.
Paying tribute to the family's resilience and accompanied by grandson Beau for that ceremony. America is listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
He says it's getting out of hand. 60 degrees, cloudy downtown, radar mostly clear, other than some scattered rain south of Indianapolis. It's going to get a lot colder tonight, low of 29. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 5:02. Too many people are getting shot in the capital city. That's according to Indy FOP President Rick Snyder.
When you adjust for population differences, we are outpacing Chicago in homicides per capita by over 5% right now.
Snyder talking with WIBC's Kendall and Casey. 13 different people were shot this weekend. 3 others stabbed. 2 people died in separate incidents. You may get some snow this Thanksgiving. Ryan Hedrick reports on what forecasters know so far.
You will see more precipitation leading up to Thanksgiving as the storm approaches from the plains. Jason Puma with the National Weather Service in Indianapolis.
Yeah, we're looking at really kind of a double shot, getting an initial surge essentially on Wednesday and Wednesday night, and then another shot during the day on Thanksgiving Day.
He says it will become more clear Tuesday what type of precipitation it is. What we do know is that much colder air is on the way starting this weekend. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Farmers are getting some new tech to help make their jobs easier, but they need the internet to make it all work.
So many people just rely on their cell phone for internet access, and to be honest, that isn't sufficient.
Katrina Hall with the Indiana Farm Bureau. She tells Wish TV the state's getting $15 million in federal grant money to spend on getting better Wi-Fi to people living out in the country. That does include those farmers in Indiana. And Monument Circle here in downtown Indianapolis will be decorated as a Christmas tree. The Circle of Lights, which is coming up this Friday.
New this year, the stage and all its activities will be located on the north side of the monument instead of the south spoke where it has been in previous years. The Monument Circle closes itself at 7 a.m. for setup.
IMPD Commander Charles de Blaso said this morning that you'll see more police officers than normal, and you can expect some delays in road closures as they get ready for the Circle of Lights. That's why he's urging you to be patient. About 25,000 people expected. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 5:04.
Hey, it's Rob. If you want to grow your hair back, check out the precision and accuracy of the Artist Robotic FUE at We Grow Hair Indy. You'll be amazed at the permanent natural results you can get and get back to work ASAP. Darren Andrews, Clinic Director of We Grow Hair Indy, is here to tell us more.
The Artist Robotic FUE hair transplant at We Grow Hair Indy, one of the most sophisticated hair transplant procedures available. The accuracy and the precision of the Artist Robotic FUE is what clients love the most. Get the results you want with our Artist FUE or multi-unit hair grafting procedure.
Don't wait. Call today and find out more about the Artist Robotic FUE at WeGrowHairIndy.com. Call 317-522-2995 for your hair evaluation. 317-522-2995 or go to WeGrowHairIndy.com and grow your hair back today.
With traffic on the 5s at 5:05, here's Matt Baer.
Northwest side, Harrison, northbound 465, stop and go traffic, 86th Street up to 865. Eastbound 465, dragging big time, Westfield Boulevard over to Allisonville Road for an 8-minute delay. Inbound 65, slow from MLK to the north split for a 9-minute delay. Eastbound 70, stop and go traffic from Tibbs Avenue into the south split. That's running about 6 minutes right now. Southwest side, southbound 465, stop and go before 72 the White River, and on the east side, southbound 465 stop and go traffic from 72 Washington Street. Traffic sponsored by BJ's Wholesale Club. BJ's Wholesale Club is open in Carmel. At BJ's, members get up to 25% off grocery store prices every day. Visit bjs.com/Carmel or the brand new club located at Rangeline Crossing to join today. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And here's your forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
We'll keep the chance for isolated showers around to early tonight with breezy winds sticking around as lows fall all the way down to the low 30s. Tuesday, much colder with sunshine returning as highs only get into the low to mid 40s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Stephen Deanna for 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are
weirdos?
So let's rock it.
Got a question for you. 4 words, Guy Relford filling in for Hammer. Where is our president? Where is Joe Biden? I mean, I did see him. I heard him at the top of the hour talking turkey. Saw him at the South Lawn Friday, wiping away his, he was weeping at the farewell White House dinner. But other than that, non-existent. Does anybody have any faith that if anything serious, an emergency, any sort of attack on this country were to happen, that Joe Biden would be able to lead us through it? Well, because he's nowhere to be found.
Well, exactly. But Nigel, I will answer your question with another question in only 3 words, which is, what's the difference? I mean, for the last...
You're right. I don't want to see the guy.
For the last 4 years, I mean, we've got a, frankly, senile old guy in there as president, and Kamala's completely incompetent. She can't put a coherent sentence together. So I don't know that, she's on vacation and Joe's nowhere to be found. I don't know that we're in much of a different position now than we have been for the last 4 years, because the answer really is we don't know who's in charge. Right? I mean, for the last 4 years, who's really making the high-level decisions for this country? I don't think any of us know, because I don't think it's been Joe, and I don't think it's been Kamala.
I mean, do you think Joe actually was the one to sign off on the United States-made missiles, the long-range missiles, signed off on Ukraine to use those against Russia?
No.
I mean, is it the military brass, the brass heads there at the Pentagon that are in charge? Is it the Secretary of State Blinken, who's holding cry therapy sessions for and for him and the people that are in his staff that are traumatized by Donald Trump winning the White House? Who I don't know. It's kind of scary. You mentioned Kamala Harris, the vice president. You talk about non-existent, a non-factor, just a horrible candidate. Nobody even vote. No votes. What were the Democrats thinking? They didn't have anybody on their bench to begin with, I don't think. And we'll get to that. I've got more on Kamala here in a second. But according to the White House press secretary, America's wine mom, like you said, is on vacation. Here's Karine Jean-Pierre.
To Hawaii, while DNC staffers are just wondering what they're going to do for work.
The vice president has taken time off to go spend time with her family. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think she deserves some time to be with her family and to have some downtime. She has worked very hard over the last 4 years.
Oh, yeah.
And her taking a couple of days to be with her family, good for her. Good for her.
Working hard on that border, as borders are.
So many times I hear her talk, the White House press secretary, and I just wish I was in the room for a follow-up question. Like right there is, that's interesting, because I still don't have an answer to the question of what did she actually accomplish for all that hard work?
She didn't do anything.
One
figurehead
thing. Nothing. Zero. Nada.
I wonder if she has any bitterness. I mean, she was a senator of a big state, one of the 100 most powerful people in the country. I mean, granted, she got the vice president gig. She's a heartbeat away from being the president of the United States. But besides that, she's kind of a joke. What is she going to do now? She's going to go, like I heard, there's this poll, UC Berkeley. This poll found that nearly half of California voters would support Kamala if she were going to, she entered the California gubernatorial race in 2026. And then her a potential favorite on the Democratic ticket in 2028.
Well,
are you kidding me?
You know what?
After what just happened, voters in California say, "Oh yeah, we want her back on the ticket in 2020." Okay, go for that. Let's see how that works out for you.
Well, if there's a place I would love to see her, if there's a political office that I would want to see Kamala Harris in, it's governor of California, because you can't fall out of a hole, right? I mean, that state, as far as politics go, is in the basement.
It's crazy,
as it currently is. So, man, you're a liberal wacko from California. Great, go hang out with your fellow liberal wackos from California. Leave the rest of the country alone. I'd be all in favor of that. I'd be celebrating that.
Speaking of and then Kamala. I mean, by all accounts, accused Joe Biden during the primaries in 2019 of being a racist. Sure. Saying that she believed Biden's sex assault accuser, Tara Reid, like she believes her. She believes all women. And all of a sudden, the next thing you know, Joe Biden's like, let's go to work. It's not a joke. And she took the gig. She swallowed her pride. And then accusing somebody of being a racist and then going to work for them.
Oh, I know.
Completely disingenuous.
And I can actually envision very clearly in my mind when the Obamas and who knows, the Clintons cornered Joe and explained to him how he couldn't stay in the race and he had to step aside. Yeah. And we're gonna shove Kamala in there instead of you, even though nobody's cast a vote for her ever. Since she first ran for president, I could see a little dim light going on, but a light going on in Joe's mind going, now I remember why I don't like this chick.
Yeah, and now I'm going to vote for Donald Trump.
Yeah, right.
Donald Trump sauntered into the White House, and Joe Biden was all smiles a week or two ago. Mm-hmm. Speaking of the 2028 election, like here's who I'm thinking for 2028. Like for the Democrats, like Big Gretch from Michigan, the governor of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer. Maybe Josh Shapiro, governor of Pennsylvania. Some people are throwing around Pete Buttigieg, transportation. You talk about somebody with no experience or limited experience. It was a disaster, his job as Treasury Secretary. Probably want to go ask the people in New Palestine, Ohio about that.
I think Gretchen Whitmer probably leads that list.
Really?
Yeah, of any of them. And I think, frankly, Democrats made a huge mistake not going with Josh Shapiro as vice president in this race. The race we just had.
On Kamala's ticket?
Oh, yeah. I think it should have been him. But you know what that was all about? That was not wanting to alienate the anti-Jewish constituency of the Democrat Party. And that was in my mind, that was pure racism against Josh Shapiro. But I think he would have been a much stronger vice president.
Well, stronger than her. Oh, that's that's the other thing.
Doubt.
He's a very competent guy, even though he's a Democrat, and I don't agree with his policies here. Is ESPN's highest paid talking head, Stephen A. Smith. And I don't always agree with Stephen A. Smith. I agree with him here. And he's stating the obvious on Bill Maher's podcast when talking about the Democrats.
What happened to the Democrats?
How about that? You know what? And that was an ass kicking. That was, if we're being honest about it, it was a thorough ass kicking. Ain't no way around it, Bill.
Oh,
I mean, you know more politics than me, but damn it, a blind man could see the Democrats got their ass kicked.
And then we're talking about the Democrats' bullpen, which Stephen A. Smith said that is non-existent.
But, you have, to use your baseball analogy, you have no bullpen. Who is it? Trump's been the Republican nominee since 2016. It is clear that that's who conservatives want in the White House, okay? That's who they supported. They didn't give a damn about the 34 indictments. They didn't give a damn about 2 impeachments.
Nope.
They didn't give a damn about all the legal issues and the lawfare that the Democrats engaged in. They said, Joe, that's who we want.
Oh, by the way, speaking of those indictments, Jack Smith, the rage prosecutor, asked the judge if he could dismiss all those. We're talking about the election interference, the January 6th stuff, the classified documents, blah, 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 blah. The judge just granted that motion to dismiss. And Jack Smith, by the way, according to the New York Times, will be resigning as special prosecutor for the Department of Justice. come January.
There you go.
It's hilarious. All right, my man Matt Bear, what is up?
What's happening, Nigel? Looking at southbound 65 stop and go traffic. MLK to the north split, and that's a delay of 9 minutes. Eastbound 70 slow up to Belmont, then stop and go traffic into the south split. Northeast side, eastbound 465 stop and go traffic. Westfield Boulevard to Allisonville Road. Inbound 69 tight from 106th Street past 96. East side, southbound 465 slow roll off 70 down to south as Shaylin Avenue, where we have stop and go traffic. Southwest side, southbound 465 stop and go from 70 to the White River. And a crash in Lawrence at 79th at Sunnyside Road. On the east side, report of somebody getting hit by a car. Emerson Avenue south of 10th. Traffic sponsored by Grand Appliance. Shop Grand Appliance for unbeatable Black Friday deals like Bosch dishwashers for just $347 after rebate. Learn more at grandappliance.com or your local Grand showroom. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Guy Relford, are you up for an Ask the Gun Guy segment or two?
Always, man. I love doing that.
Let's do that at 5, a little bit after 5:30. If you got a two-way question, a gun safety question, anything in that genre, stay close. We're going to get to your questions a little bit after 5:30. First, Kevin Bowen from 107.5 The Fan going to break down exactly why the Colts were such a disaster on Sunday. That's next. It's 58 and drizzle at the American Standard Heating Weather Center, 93 WIBC.
Ceasefire deal with Iran-backed Hezbollah militants could be just days away.
Tentatively agreed to a U.S.-backed proposal.
93 WIBC.
Shootings happened this weekend at the Brass Flamingo Strip Club. Numerous shots rang out. 191 homicides this year.
Hear the news.
Indiana's first loss to second-ranked Ohio State dropped them from 5th to 10th.
Another news update is minutes away.
Notre Dame went up from 6th to 5th.
93 WIBC Mobile News.
The Voice of Health Minute with Dr. Robert Prather of Holistic Integration.
Do you remember when you went through menopause? It didn't last very long for you.
No, I think I just had a couple hot flashes.
Yeah, it was about a month, and you looked at me and said, "Fix it now."
That's what's nice about being married to you.
The man paused and said, "I'm going to fix this now." And we did.
Yes.
We're actually really good at that. So we got those under control. About 80% of all women wind up with hot flashes, which is interesting. If you go to other countries, it's almost zero. No hot flashes, no changes on menopause. Most of the Asian countries, they don't even know what you're talking about.
Wow. Why is that?
America has the highest rate of menopause symptoms in the world.
The Voice of Health with Dr. Robert Prather. Sundays at 8 p.m. or anytime at thevoiceofhealthradio.com.
This Christmas, as you're picking out gifts for loved ones, take a moment to think about the future gift you can give yourself. The gift of a secure retirement. Howard Bailey Financial is here to help you unwrap the possibilities of peace and confidence. With our free retirement toolkit, you'll get practical steps and insights to plan for the years ahead. From saving strategies to planning tips, this toolkit is like a financial compass for your future. And best of all, it's completely free to download. Don't wait until next year to start planning. Text GIFT to 888-262-1104. Download your free retirement toolkit and give yourself the gift of financial confidence this holiday season. That's GIFT to 888-262-1104 to start planning today. Howard Bailey Security, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9379. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9379. That's 800-575-9379. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Nobody cares for you like family. Family Heating and Air.
Hi, this is Malia with Family Heating and Air, and as a mom myself, I know it's really important to keep the kiddos healthy. Air quality, humidity, those are super big issues on my concern list. If you share any of these concerns, give family a call, 317-577-8077.
Family Heating and Air is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
Avoid Black Friday frenzy at Sullivan Hardware and Garden with donuts, coffee, and mimosas early on the 29th while saving big. Shop, play, experience. Christmas with Sullivan's.
The Hammer Nigel Show. I'm Nigel. Guy Relford filling in for Hammer. We'll go straight to the hotline and bring on a very special guest. The Wake Up Call with KB and Andy. Mornings on 107.5. The Fan also covers the Colts for our news gathering partners at Wish TV. Kevin Bowen, KB. God, nothing drives me more nuts as a Colts fan. They lost to the Lions, by the way, 21-6. I don't think the score was that much of a... I don't know. It looked like a blowout, but there seemed like there were some real opportunities, and nothing for the Colts, and nothing drives me more nuts than the penalties. Can we start there? Do you think that was maybe the main problem for the Colts? Because they had some gigantic plays that were called back because of penalties. What do you think?
Yeah, easily. Yeah, season high, Nige, 10 penalties, and then to your point, just crippling plays. I mean, we're talking Jonathan Taylor's best run in weeks. Yeah. Oh, my gosh, the Colts tight end actually caught a pass. That gets called back. Josh Allen's had a couple of big plays that got called back. So it's pretty wild. I mentioned this stat on our show this morning. The Colts didn't allow a sack in the game, didn't commit a turnover. In the NFL, that's pretty rare. 13 times it's happened this season. All 13 times before Sunday, that team won the game. So perfect record. If you don't commit a turnover, you don't get sacked, you win. Yeah. Not only do the Colts lose, but they lost by 18.
Wow. Yeah. Again, 21-6. Was it mostly holding penalties? There was some offensive or interference that Alec Pierce blocking call seemed that was BS, I thought. But was it mostly just the offensive line and holding?
Yeah, so of the 10 penalties they had, 5 were on the offensive line. Actually, 3 were on Quentin Nelson. I thought one of the worst games of his career. You brought up the Alec Pierce, kind of pick play. I thought that was an iffy call.
Yeah.
I thought Pierce could have sold it maybe a little bit better. Sometimes you just see that get called. But again, it wasn't like a bunch of delay of games or false starts or offsides, and we're talking in-game or in-play penalties, which obviously eliminate those plays, and seemingly the Colts had several big plays off of it. So that was the root of it. You had 9 drives yesterday, 7 of them had penalties, and it was a big reason why they didn't score a touchdown for the first time in the Shane Steichen era.
And you, KB, mentioned the offensive line. Talk about their play, their inability to protect Anthony Richardson, and boy, that rookie Tucker was having a really, really bad. I mean, you talked about Quentin Nelson having a bad game. That other dude was just getting his lunch eaten every play, I feel like.
Yeah, I thought it was the worst offensive line day of the season. Again, I mean, you brought up Dalton Tucker, the undrafted free agent at right guard. He obviously struggled. But again, Quentin Nelson, I thought did not have a good game at all. Braden Smith out at right tackle, seemingly has a penalty every single week. So that unit in general, there's just way too much invested there. It's a huge Chris Ballard, their general manager, a core belief of his. And for that unit to let you down, I mean, it's not like they were, someone brought up, well, they should be dominant. Well, they weren't even competent yesterday.
Yeah.
And, in general, I just thought the whole offense lacked support for Anthony Richardson.
Oh, we'll talk about Anthony Richardson for a second. I mean, it wasn't all on him today. He didn't exactly have a horrible game. It wasn't his best game. Like, what did you think overall of Anthony Richardson's play on Sunday against the Lions?
Yeah, I mean, I thought all in all it's one where you can't go to the box score and just chalk that up and say, oh, yeah, he played terrible or, something like that. I think if you go back and you watch it, he really only had one or two, I thought, really poor throws. You can't take for granted his legs. He had 3 run plays of over 10 yards. And that drop in the first half, Nige, I mean, the Drew Ogletree touchdown drop.
Yeah.
I mean, if you catch that touchdown, you're up 10-7 early in the second quarter. Now you put some game pressure on the Lions, and you weren't able to, haul that in. So I just thought, in general, not enough support for Richardson. A big reason why the Colts didn't have a sack against them yesterday was because of him. He's avoiding and Houdini-like with these guys draped on him, and he's just praying to throw it away at the last second. So, again, I don't think he deserves blame for that either.
And that, I don't know if you know, I'm going to try to describe the play I'm thinking of here in the second half, midway through the third quarter of Anthony Richardson running and just going head first like a bull into the defensive play. You know what I'm talking about? They hit helmet to helmet. He just ran over the guy for the defense on the Lions. You know what play I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Yeah, he had a couple runs that I just felt like, I mean, late third quarter, I think he broke 3 tackles on a run.
Yeah.
And, I mean, again, his general physicality. I mean, that first drive of the game was pretty flawless. A lot of it was him running it right down there, and then you weren't able to convert it. And I think to go back to how you started things off, Nige, what's so frustrating about yesterday is, you got into halftime, and the Lions had 2 drives inside the red zone. You had 2 drives inside the red zone, and yet you're down 8 points. Well, you can't finish off those drives. You had the drop, and then you had the stalled out drive. The Lions picked up a 3rd and 8 via a run, a 3rd and 6 via a run. The next thing you know, you're down 8 at halftime, and you just feel like the Lions are in control. And I think that's what is frustrating. Scoreboard-wise, first half, I thought you kind of hung in there, but yet you're down, 8 at halftime.
And any issues with the play calling at all in the offense?
I didn't have as much play calling directed issues. I'm generally frustrated with the personnel today. And certainly when you have 10 penalties, there's an element on your head coach with that.
Yeah.
But, Nige, this is the same old personnel largely, that's been there for several years now. And your high-paid guys, I don't think are delivering enough for you. Again, just your general support for Anthony Richardson is not there. I mean, this is largely a core they ran it back with. And, right now they're obviously trending in a direction that would not be making it in the postseason or really having a great shot at the postseason here in the final weeks of the year. And it's, again, the main core, the captains, the leaders, these are the same guys that they have really stuck with for the last couple of seasons. So, certainly anytime you don't score a touchdown, Shane Steichen deserves blame. I don't want to ignore that. But to me, it wasn't, just outright a play calling. Certainly there was some, trickle-down effect from a penalty standpoint, but I thought the personnel really, really let you down.
And then the thinning, I'm reading your one of my favorite articles you do every day, every Monday after the Colts game, 5 things learned. Lions take over Indy, bully Colts. That was the headline. You do your 5 things learned, and you list 5 things that kind of everybody needs to know if you didn't get to watch the game or if you got kids running around in the background. The thinning margin for error. The Colts, to have a sliver of hope in the playoffs, the Colts have to win outright? Is that pretty much?
Yeah, if you want to get technical, 4-1 with a win over Denver, that is at Denver coming out of their bye week in the middle of December, that is a must. So if you are going to lose one, it can't be to Denver.
Okay.
And if you want to drink glass half full, Nige, for a second.
Sure, please.
These are the quarterbacks that you end the year with. Drake May and the Patriots, Bo Nix and the Broncos, Will Levis and the Titans, Tommy DeVito and the Giants, and then we'll see, I guess, Trevor Lawrence and the Jags. We'll see if Trevor Lawrence is starting come the final game of the season. So on paper, the Colts can beat these teams. Now, granted, they have lost to, Malik Willis earlier in the year, and they lost to the Jags. But there is a glass half full that's somewhere on the table. I'm not holding my breath for it. But I think that, again, is what's frustrating, too, is Houston has cracked the door open. Here in the Midwest, we always do the awkward holding of doors for people. Houston is holding the door like no other for the Colts. And the Colts are like sprinting and tripping and falling to try and get to the door in time. But yet you can't take advantage of it. So, again, 5-0, 4-1, yes, it's going to take a win over Denver, though.
One more thing before I let you go, transitioning to IU football losing to Ohio State. How big a deal was that? What do they need to do against Purdue this weekend, the Oak and Bucket game, to maybe see a definite playoff spot?
Yeah, I mean, 12-3 yesterday or Saturday did not go well for IU. The rest of the day went glorious. So when I start looking at the rest of the playoff teams, I don't know if I can get to 12 that have better resumes than Indiana.
Okay.
So that's the good news. Now, I'll be curious to see what the rankings look like tomorrow night. I think the margin for error is very thin. So you need to beat Purdue, and you need to beat Purdue soundly. Like, if you have a 7-point win over the worst team in Purdue football history, I mean, the committee's going to look at that. So I think that's important. But again, the SEC, I mean, Alabama losing, Texas A&M losing, Florida losing, that was huge for Indiana. So I think they might have survived it.
I thought Florida beat. Florida beat
Ole Miss. Thank you.
KB, where can we find more of your work? And the show is on Monday through Friday starting at 7 a.m., right?
Yes, sir. Tomorrow we'll have Rick Carlisle joining us at 8 o'clock. It's a big week for the Pacers. So they got to win yesterday. They need to take care of business at home all week long. So, 7 to 10 a.m. Over on our sister station, 107.5 The Fan.
Kevin Bowen, you and your family, I was awesome to meet you and your family and your two littles running around at the Franciscan event down at Googman House Brewery over the weekend. You guys have an awesome Thanksgiving, and we'll talk to you soon.
I appreciate that, Nigel. Thanks for having me on each week, and happy Thanksgiving to you and all the listeners out there.
Okay, hopefully the phones are working. 239-9393 if you have a question for the gun guy. We will do Ask the Gun Guy. Guy Relford, licensed firearms instructor, 2A attorney filling in for Hammer. Going to do a live edition of Ask the Gun Guy. So if you have any questions, whatever they may be, 2A related, firearms related, gun safety related, 239-9393. Guy Relford will take your questions next, right after a look at the news.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Why he says you should care. Cloudy with temperatures in the 60s downtown. A bit of scattered rain in your radar. Low of about 29 tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 5:32. The president of the Indianapolis Fraternal Order of Police says there are many reasons to care about violence in the Circle City, even if you're not a victim. Ryan Hedrick reports.
The state's economy depends on the well-being of Indianapolis, and when violence rises, it drives down tourism, which hurts the economy. FOP President Rick Snyder tells WIBC's Kendall and Casey that violence in the Circle City is on par with what Chicago is doing per capita.
We have already had 761 people shot with 191 people killed so far this year. Our trend lines show that we'll exceed 200-plus homicides this year,
which would be the fifth straight year that has happened.
The special counsel in President-elect Trump's federal election interference case is filed to drop the charges. Trump faced felony charges connected to alleged efforts to overturn the 2020 presidential election. He's off the hook now that he's been reelected president. The Bidens have already put their Christmas tree up this year. It was sent from a family who owns a farm in North Carolina.
This tree recognizes your tremendous strength and service. In just a few days, volunteers from all over the country will pour in to transform this tree and decorate the entire White House.
First Lady Jill Biden speaking after the tree was put up, along with some military vets and members of North Carolina's National Guard. Remember, they were hit pretty bad by Hurricane Helene a few months back. Indianapolis has their own holiday festivities to tend to. The Circle of Lights is this Friday night on the Monument.
Pre-show starts at 5:15 p.m. The live event runs from 6 to 7 p.m. with a tree lighting ceremony shortly before 7 p.m. From 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., enjoy music and a visit from Santa.
IMPD Commander Charles de Blasio said this morning you should expect plenty of traffic. You'll also see plenty of officers, all for security reasons, to make sure you're kept safe. With traffic at 5:34, how are the roads, Matt Bear?
All right, Harrison. Inbound 65 stop-and-go traffic, MLK to Meridian, Penford, 11-minute delay. Eastbound 70 into the south split from Belmont is running at 5 additional minutes right now. Westbound 70 slow from Meridian, Illinois, past West Street. North side, eastbound 465 stop-and-go traffic from Westfield Boulevard to Allisonville Road at a 9-minute delay. Inbound 69 stop-and-go from 106th Street to 82nd, and on the southeast side, southbound Eastbound 465 stop and go traffic before and after I-74. Crash. Somebody got hit by a car. It's on the east side, 38th at German Church. Crash in Lawrence, 79th at Sunnyside Road. A crash south side, eastbound Banther Road at Shelby Street. Traffic sponsored by Sullivan Hardware and Garden. Are you ready for Frenzy Friday? Join them Friday from 7:30 to 9:30 a.m. for donuts and coffee at Sullivan Hardware and Garden and Allisonville Home and Garden by Sullivan. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
We'll keep the chance for isolated showers around to early tonight with breezy winds sticking around as lows fall all the way down to the low 30s. Tuesday, much colder with sunshine returning as highs only get into the low to mid 40s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Stephen Deanna for 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Why? Because I need a... Why? Why? What the hell is the matter with you?
On 93 WIBC.
I'm Nigel, Gun Guy. Relford in for Hammer. Time for Ask the Gun Guy. If you have a question, 2A related, Gun Guy is a long-time Second Amendment attorney, licensed firearms instructor. 239-9393. Guy, I'll hand it over to you.
Absolutely. We'll go to the phone lines. And by the way, we've got phone lines open. So as Nige says, give us a call, 317-239-9393, and we'll get you on the air. We actually have 3 Jeffs on hold. So
3 different Jeffs?
If you hear welcome Jeff, I may or may not be talking to you. But we'll go to Jeff number 1. Jeff, welcome to Hammer and Nigel, man.
Hey, well, first of all, this is regular Jeff. I'm a longtime caller for maybe 40 years.
Awesome.
So, Guy, I got a quick one for you, and it's not really a question. Thank you for everything you do for the Second Amendment, not only in the state of Indiana, but all over the country. And I really appreciate everything and all the hard work and the extra hours you put in on it.
Well, thank you, brother. That means a lot to me. I appreciate it.
No, and I'm being honest. So I carry a Sig Sauer, a P220, but my backup gun is a Makarov. And
sure.
I love that little Makarov, man. It's one of the most dependable guns I've ever seen in my life, and it fires so smooth, and it's getting harder to buy the ammo for it.
Yeah, well, because people say, oh, it's 9mm. Well, yes and no. It's 9x18 Makarov, which is a different round than 9x19, which is what we think of as 9mm, and a 9x19, which I use in my guns, my 9mm, won't work in your gun. So, yeah, it is very hard to find ammo for that.
9B by 18mm. Right. You're exactly right.
Yep.
What are you talking about? It doesn't fit? It won't,
it's actually too short.
Okay.
It's the same circumference, but it's too short, so it won't cycle in the gun.
Exactly. So that's not my question. Here's my question. I was just curious because I know you, man. You're a big guy like I am. I'm 6'4" and 240. You're taller and bigger and everything else. So you carry your one. Do you and your backup gun? Is it okay for me to carry that Makarov as most dependable gun as a second gun that you have to have? Nobody needs to carry 2 guns. I understand, but you never know, man. They may take one from you, and you still have to live through the situation. Now I served, and I know that if I've had a gun taken away from me before, but there ain't that backup could come in handy. You carry a backup.
Yeah. Well, and Jeff, thanks for the call. Look, it's kind of an old saying when it comes to gear, whether you're talking about guns or flashlights or whatever it might be, is 1 is none and 2 is 1. Meaning, you can count on something not functioning or being lost, whatever it might be. So I'm not going to argue with anybody who says they want to carry a backup firearm. I don't have more than one on my person at any given time, but I wouldn't argue with anybody against it. But in terms of that particular firearm, the 9x18 Makarov, I mean, hell, it was used by the Russian military for years and years, might still be for all I know. I just lost my father-in-law. My father-in-law passed away, and one of the guns that got handed down to me from my father-in-law was a 9x18 Makarov. It's kind of a cool gun. I'm not a huge fan of the trigger, but reliability is the number one issue, and then how well you shoot it. And then if you shoot it well, it's a reliable gun. I would never criticize you for carrying that gun. Let's go back to the phone lines, and it says, cool, Jeff. Okay, that is not to suggest our first Jeff was not cool, but Jeff, welcome to Hammer and Nigel.
Yeah, it's funny that he's called himself regular Jeff. So I'll take the cool Jeff. That's cool. Hey, I'm a young guy, all for the Second Amendment and all of that. I don't own a gun, but my question really is just pretty broad. It's like, hey, you know, you hear about all of the things that are cycling around about like, oh, they're gonna like revisit the Second Amendment and take guns. What should I do? What should I be thinking about? Like, is there actually any real threat to, like, guns being taken away and such? Or just, like, this is a total novice question from a cool guy, but that's kind of my question. What do I need to know? What should I be thinking about? Should I, like, and I have little kids, too. So my other thing is, I live in a safe community. I don't want to really bring one into my house. I kind of think that in some ways they're more trouble than they're worth, you know, but again, I'm totally for the Second Amendment and things like that. So just kind of a general question there.
Yeah, I think a lot of people that support the Second Amendment feel like Jeff.
Yeah, absolutely, and don't necessarily own guns.
But they're not as cool. They're not
cool,
as
Jeff.
cool.
Yeah,
Not as cool.
Yeah, no, and listen, and thanks for your question. First of all, we do have the Second Amendment, and people talk about, well, you know, I hear that there's going to be an effort to repeal the Second Amendment. In fact, it's one of my favorite things to respond to on social media. I just did this within the last 24 hours. Is somebody on social media, I was talking about some reforms to the red flag law that we want to do in this next General Assembly, and some goofball on X or Twitter comes on and says, oh, well, in my mind, we ought to just repeal the Second Amendment. And, you know, trying to bait me into some ridiculous debate on that issue. And all I said was what I always say. I said, well, you better get busy, because all it takes is a 2/3 majority in both houses of Congress to pass a resolution to repeal the Second Amendment. And then that needs to be ratified by 3/4 of the states, which is 38. So take a good hard look at the last election map and decide for yourself what 38 states you're going to get. Work on that 2/3 resolution, or, by the way, you can have a constitutional convention. Again, 2/3 resolution passed at a constitutional convention, and then ratification by 38 states. So you think you can get that done? Saddle up, brother. Let's go. Get busy. You don't have time to be talking on social media. You got work to do. And, of course, that's ludicrous. It's never going to happen. Not going to happen in my lifetime anyway, or I think in my grandchildren's lifetime. So we're going to have the Second Amendment. In the short term, certainly over the next 4 years, Republicans have a majority in the Senate, a slim but majority in the House. Got President Trump in the White House, who's not perfect on the Second Amendment, and he's done some things that didn't help during his 4 years, and I've talked about that on my show and here on Hammer and Nigel, but he's not going to pass anything or sign anything that dramatically limits Second Amendment rights, and he's pledged to not do that, and I think we can, for the most part, take that at faith. So, no, I don't think we're going to lose gun rights. Do I think we're going to see something like an assault weapon ban? Not the next 4 years, not a chance in hell. Do I even think we'd see it beyond that? Well, even when Democrats were mostly in control here over the last 4 years, there was no serious effort to get that done. So I don't think anybody needs to buy guns out of panic or fear that they're not going to be able to buy a gun later on. Having said that, I think people ought to ask themselves the hard question: do I think a firearm should be part of my self-defense plan for me and my family? And not everybody's going to answer that yes. And I don't argue with anybody who answers no to that question. I'm like, God bless you. It's your choice. Just like it's my right to possess firearms, it's your right to choose not to. If you choose to do that because you think that's an effective way to protect your family, then it's all about training. Make sure you're properly trained, and then to some degree equipment as well. You have young kids. Hey, I have quick access gun safes in my house. I have one in my car as we speak that I can open in less than a second, but it's a steel safe. My gun is locked up. It's not accessible.
There's fingerprint?
Yeah, well, I have read fingerprints, and I have another one that's just a little 3-digit code. Okay. Pop, pop, pop. Thing pops open. There it is. So you can balance accessibility with security. And you don't have to say, well, I have young kids, so I can't own a gun. I can't have a gun in the house. You absolutely can. You can do that safely and still have proper access to it as long as you're disciplined in that and you're trained in how to use it. So that's my response, and I could talk for another half an hour on that, but it's a great question.
Do another quick one here, then we'll take a break.
We'll do a quick one and then come back. And by the way, we've got phone lines open, 317-239-9393. We have yet another Jeff. Jeff, welcome to Hammer and Nigel.
Hey, is this one me?
Yep, it sure is.
Well, I'm not going to say I'm cool, or I'm just going to say I'm 65 years old. Well, here's my question, Guy. due to circumstances at work back in 2017, decided it was time for me to be a carrier. So did so, was vetted through, the vetting process, the state police and then the FBI, was issued my carrying license, received a letter in the mail, fast forward, nearly 7 years now, stating that I was an improper person to carry or possess firearms.
Yeah.
And I've not had anything on my record other than a parking ticket. The police, I called the state police legal guy that I talked to. His name, by the way, was Jeff, too, the other day. And
my dad's name's Jeff.
Hey, awesome.
So what's the question? Like, what's
So the question is, what do I need to do at this point to? I got a hearing coming up on the 5th of December.
Yeah, well, and I'm not available that day, but I handle those appeals all the time. If you want to contact me through relfordlaw.com, I can give you more information than we probably have time for here on Hammer Nigel, but that you can show up to that hearing if you can demonstrate that they're just wrong. They got you mixed up with somebody else. There's some prohibitor they think is on your record that's really not. Whatever it might be, I handle those for people all the time. I actually have a red flag hearing on the 5th, so I can't do it then. But we could get it moved potentially. That's something I help clients with all the time, Jeff. So contact my office. Just go to relfordlaw.com. And you send me an email or give me a call when I'm back in the office, and I can steer you through that a little bit and tell you exactly how to handle that.
Okay, stick on the line if you're waiting. We'll take a quick break. Back with Guy Relford, Ask the Gun Guy, segment number 2, coming up next.
Life insurance is one of those things that just about everybody needs, but few people actually have. Hey, if you die unexpectedly without life insurance, guess what? You'll leave your family with even a bigger mess. Life insurance will help replace your family's income. It'll help cover burial expenses. Life insurance can even help pay off debt like credit cards and medical bills. Life insurance can even pay for college. And if you own a business and you die, life insurance can help your business from collapsing. It can even help cover estate taxes. Life insurance has never been more affordable and needed. Plus, you can always shop around even if you have a plan and save some money. So call the Life Insurance Quote Line right now for free pricing information.
800-917-8730. 800-917-8730. 800-917-8730. That's 800-917-8730.
I went to My Computer Career because I needed job security.
Because I wanted a career in cybersecurity.
I went to My Computer Career because IT jobs are everywhere.
My old job was going nowhere.
I went because I didn't want college loans for the rest of my life.
Because I wanted a career for the rest of my life.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. Classes available online or in person. Financial aid available for qualified students, including the GI Bill. 529 college savings plans accepted.
Not available in Washington State.
It's Hammer and Nigel for Window Nation. Experts say that heating costs are increasing up to 23% this winter. And if your windows aren't from Window Nation, your money is literally going out the window. They have some of the best insulated windows, so your heat stays inside. And right now, get these amazing windows at 50% off.
Plus, you could save even more money with 0% interest for 5 years. Hurry, this sale ends November 30th. Schedule your fast in-home estimate right now at 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com.
The holidays are a magical time to get engaged. At Shane Company, we're here to help you create your dream engagement ring in just 3 easy steps. Choose a setting that speaks to your style. Compare diamonds and colorful gemstones in all shapes and sizes. Then personalize it with a decorative crown and special engraving. Or choose a perfectly preset ring that's ready to go. At Shane Company, you'll find everyday competitive prices, a no-pressure environment, and an unmatched free lifetime warranty. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
If Ernest Hemingway was alive today, would he say this to you?
Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, all great writers. And after reading your book, I simply must add you to the list.
Wait, you don't have a book yet, so make a free call to Page Publishing. Turn your book idea into publishing gold.
800-215-6818. 800-215-6818. That's 800-215-6818.
We've seen that sleep apnea bully stop breathing more than 100 times an hour. But this problem is solvable. and Advent has simple solutions that have been proven to be extremely effective.
LD Smith Plumbing takes on the worst, the dirty and stinky sewer and drain jobs, and gives you plumbing solutions that work. Online at ldsmithplumbing.com.
Fall brings falling leaves and falling prices. Visit Honda of Fishers now for great deals on new and used Hondas. Visit Honda of Fishers in person or online at hondaoffishers.com.
Express the heartwarming message that says love is about being together. Let a Pierce Jewelers diamond engagement ring be the symbol that says I love you. Shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers.
Matt Bear, what's going on?
Inbound 65 stop and go traffic from the White River down to Meridian Penn. That is a delay time of 10 minutes. Eastbound 70 stop and go traffic from Belmont to the South Split. Eastbound 465 on the northeast side, stop and go off Westfield Boulevard over to the White River. Crash on the east side. Somebody was hit by a car. 38th at German Church Road. Crash in Lawrence. 79th at Sunnyside Road. Crash on the west side on South High School Road, north of Rockville Road. Traffic sponsored by Sullivan Hardware and Garden. Are you ready for Frenzy Friday? Friday Frenzy. Join us Friday from 7:30 to 9:30 a.m. for donuts and coffee at Sullivan Hardware and Garden in Allisonville. Home and Garden by Sullivan. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
58, American Standard Heating Weather Center. Gun guy, go.
All right, we'll go back to the phone lines.
Time for maybe one more here.
Okay, and John has been on hold for a while. John, welcome to Hammer Nigel.
Hey, man. Love the show. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
Sorry to hear about your father-in-law. Here's the question. I'm Guy Relford. I'm going to the gun range. I'm going to take my favorite long gun. I'm going to take my favorite handgun. What are they?
Oh, it depends on what range I'm going to. It depends on what distance I'm going to shoot at in terms of favorite rifle. If I'm going to your standard, 25-yard range, I'm taking an AR. I just got a new from Rock Op Defense AR that I'm in love with. Put an ACOG on it. It's fabulous. And I'm going to shoot probably my carry gun, which is a Sig Sauer 365 MX Macro. It's called 9mm. Those are the two I'd take right now, brother. We got time for one more, Nigel? We done?
Yeah, got about 45 seconds here.
I'll say, how fast can you get it in, Michael? What you got?
Hey, just don't want to step on a landmine with this one because I know we have limited time. Smart guns. You heard a lot about them a few years ago.
And I'll tell you what, brother. Let me cut you off because we're limited on time.
We'll do this again tomorrow.
Yeah, smart gun, not reliable technology. Hell no.
Okay. Look, if you're still on hold, we're going to do this again tomorrow. I don't know if we're going to do it at the same time again tomorrow. Guys filling in for Hammer. Again, this is a popular segment when Guy Relford fills in on the Hammer and Nigel show. Limited time right now, but we will get your calls again tomorrow. We'll do this segment again tomorrow. And more of the Hammer and Nigel show with Guy Relford filling in coming up after 6 o'clock, 93 WIBC.
What does the joy of Christmas mean to you? A gift? Time with family? Decorations and traditions? At Shepherd Community, the joy of Christmas is learning to read, feeling safe and loved, finding a stable job, and having a community that cares. Shepherd gives its neighbors gifts of joy and hope for a brighter future. You can give the joy of Christmas to neighbors living in poverty, not just at the holidays, but all year long. Visit caringatchristmas.org/give. That's caringatchristmas.org/give.
Earn, save, grow. It's time your money works harder and goes further with a Stockyards Bank and Trust CD. For a limited time, earn 5.15 annual percentage yield with our 5-month CD special. Proudly serving our communities since 1904. Visit any of our 5 Indianapolis area locations or syb.com/IndyCD today and experience the Stockyards Bank difference. $10,000 minimum balance required. Limited time offer. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
An official message from Medicare.
Couple more minutes, and we'll start this month's book club.
You know, I usually love a plot twist, but this year, I'm comparing my options during Medicare open enrollment.
You can't assume your current health or drug plan is the best one for you.
And you gotta make sure your drugs are covered. That's important.
So is saving money.
Review all your options at Medicare.gov. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
A true partner in your health dedicates time to understanding your needs. At CenterWell Senior Primary Care, doctors make one-on-one time with you a priority so you can get all your questions answered and feel more confident in your health care. See how it feels to have a team of senior care experts working together to help you feel your best. CenterWell. It's about time. Schedule a tour today at meetcenterwell.com. That's meetcenterwell.com.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy two. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
How many times have you done this? You know you're going to have family over, and you're like, we don't have the kitchen that can handle this. Why haven't you called Boer already? This is it, guys. The last year, you work in a kitchen that doesn't work for you and your family. You are calling Boer. Boer Remodeling, 317-852-5546. Tell them Tony Cat sent you. 317-852-5546 or online at Boer, Booher, BoerRemodeling.com.
You can trust your flush to us. Howald Plumbers are the best in the business. Howald Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing, where coming home never felt so good.
This is Inside Indiana Business Radio. I'm Mark Mazurek. Evansville-based Old National Bank announced Monday it plans to acquire St. Paul, Minnesota-based Bremer Bank in a cash and stock transaction valued at $1.4 billion. Bremer is a privately held bank in which the Otto Bremer Trust owns an 86% stake. The bank has over $16 billion in total assets and operates 70 branch locations in Minnesota, North Dakota, and Wisconsin. In a shareholder call Monday morning, Old National CEO Jim Ryan said he saw an opportunity in the banking market in and around Minnesota.
Bremer is the crown jewel of our Minneapolis-St. Paul strategy, given its scale, strong deposit base, and leading upper Midwest brand built through 80-plus years.
Pending regulatory approvals, the deal is expected to close in mid-2025. The Lilly Endowment is writing a flurry of big checks again and recently sold more than $50 million worth of stock in namesake drug maker Eli Lilly and Company to fund the gifts, many of them to Indiana organizations. The Indianapolis-based endowment, one of the largest philanthropic organizations in the country, normally sells thousands of Lilly shares every year to raise money for grants to a wide range of organizations, from churches to public parks. The endowment sold nearly 52,000 shares at or near the top of the market. From the #1 source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Today, you either innovate or evaporate. We are accelerating the pursuit of progress. From the foods we eat to the heights we soar, because this is Indiana, the innovation capital of the world. We rally visionaries across industries, invest in connections as much as capital, and fuel our founders from dorm room to boardroom. Fuel your innovation with Elevate Ventures. Visit elevateventures.com.
The Indiana Housing and Community Development Authority last week announced over